filtered in here. We are live. We are live
Worldwide.
indeed.
Worldwide.
Yeah, I'm
worldwide.
gonna keep posting some links here whilst we let
Watching
people kind
Nick's
of
ad
twitch
while I try to
in.
get in here.
Yeah,
Give
there's
us-
your free roll.
give us
you can
that,
give me a little prime sub. You piece
Give
of
us
shit.
that Prime sub, dude.
Prime sub.
I was trying to click on the ad, give you a little promo there, but
That's fair.
You
how it
can get
works.
it. Bump up our CRM.
dude, Google back in the day in high school, I was posting YouTube videos trying to get people to click on our ads and everything. You got like 7 cents a click back then.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
What, 7 cents?
Back in the day.
Mhm.
That was like 2010.
All right, everybody, we're doing that thing that we do every episode where we kind of let people flow in for a few minutes and all of us like
Flow.
spam our socials and stuff. So yeah, just chill with us for a few minutes. We'll all say what's up, kind of go from there. Donley, I need to pull it up too because I hate that I can't see Donley. It drives me nuts.
Hey, bud.
I gotta pull it up myself. Doesn't show us in my. Oh, Twitch is being a fuckboy.
No,
There it
Twitch
is.
is good. Twitch is fine.
Sweet. All right, I got it open
Nice.
and I got it muted.
All right.
Yeah, we're streaming good.
We're out here streaming.
Hey, we're out here.
Looks good. Kyle still doesn't have his socials on his box, which
Kyle's non-existent.
Is
You
this-
can throw it up. Like, I'll give you my Instagram. I don't care.
just put my socials in Kyle's box, but just put another one of my
No,
socials.
it's whack. Just give me my
Uh,
social. I'll give it to you right now.
Tell me.
What is my Instagram?
Uh,
I think it's just
Cat
Kyle-
Dadson.
it's Kyle W1323. That is my
Ah.
main Instagram that I've used for years. Most people that are watching probably already follow me there, but if you don't, go ahead and give me a follow.
Kyle W 1323.
Yes, sir.
All right.
I can follow you.
For sure.
I forgot your handle already. 1323.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
didn't
also
forget.
also have a car Instagram. I was thinking you could just throw that one on, honestly.
Since
Why
do you
can't
by
I
chance
search
have a
that?
2015 Mustang GT?
I do.
Does it have a brand title on it by chance?
No, it's clean,
Has
dog.
it
Does
been
anyone want to?
repoed?
Does anyone want to buy it? Clean title, one owner, beautiful car.
I owned it since I drove it off the lot.
Been great. It's been a dream. Dream come
Um,
true. Honestly, that car. Damn.
All right, so I think I literally posted everywhere that I care about. I think we've had some. I have so many qualms with Twitch. Like, I don't understand why I can't see how many people are watching in theater mode, but okay, it is what it is. All right, so
What's theater mode?
like I don't know, it's like dark screen and
you-
it's nice
Why do you want to
But
know
you
if
can't
people
see-
are watching in theater mode?
because it's my stream, so I want to know how many people are watching. But it
Oh,
doesn't say.
I misunderstood.
Yeah, it doesn't say anywhere like the view count on theater. I have to
Does
click
it-
out of it to see how many people are watching the live stream. What'd you
Gotcha.
say? Yeah.
Does it hide the theater viewers?
No, it doesn't like hide it
just
on
doesn't
purpose.
differentiate them?
Yeah, right. So
Gotcha.
it is what it is.
No, like
All right.
he's saying that he wants to see the viewer count on his screen in theater mode. It doesn't.
I guess
Yeah.
I'm gonna pivot and just
yeah.
go to the dashboard. It's better anyways because I'm technically also modding. What's the link for the Twitch dashboard?
Dashboard.twitch.tv.
Dashboard.
I mean, if you keep
Dashboard.twitch.tv.
if you just like wake your mouse up on theater mode, it tells you the viewer count in the top left.
Are you on Windows?
Mm-mm.
That might be. I was on the like Windows app, which is probably like the
That's
worst
what you
way
should
to
say.
actually use
What's wrong with
Twitch.
you?
Yeah.
Sick.
Now I'm on
I
the
like the
dashboard
Windows
though,
app,
so
I
we're
mean, I don't
good.
know what you guys are talking about.
But yeah, okay. So I'm settled, and it looks like we got a handful of folks watching. So
chilling.
All right.
Donley,
so,
do you want to?
Yeah, I do. So we got my boy Rich Haik on the stream tonight. Shouts out to Richie. He's down there in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. I'm gonna be calling him Richie this evening because he's my boy and he's a longtime friend.
Yeah.
But his his name is Rich.
It's like, God damn it.
Yeah, I'm like, all right, bro, this is not part of the deal.
Bruh.
So basically, if y'all have been viewing, if y'all are regular viewers here, you knew what's going on here. Basically, with season 3, what we got going on here, every other week we're doing a guest. So week 1 we had our boy Gary Clark Jr. on here, famous musician.
Unreal.
He's a real one. He's a real one though, for real.
Clark Gary. Clark
Gary
was on here week 1.
Biz. We can keep plugging him this whole season because he got it all started.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming through.
Episode 2, if you caught us last week. My boys Bob and Pig, unreal. Yes, sir, Bob, let's get it. The Bob Law and Pigathy and Law the 6th. That's us. That's good stuff. So yeah, hey,
that's got to be somebody from SOB, but I'm still not able to, I'm having trouble. I'm having technical difficulties, but I'm here in spirit.
We're all here in spirit, buddy.
It's gotta be Carl.
Yeah, it is.
He's
Yeah,
the
that's
only
Carl.
one. He's the only one that calls me anything like Pigathy and Law.
Yeah. Donnelly, can you make sure I still have mod privileges?
Yeah, you do.
Of course you don't. You're not mod quality.
I didn't get rid of it.
All right, sorry, keep going. Yeah, I do. You're right. I don't know. It's weird.
So basically, this week we've got our boy Rich Haik on, and Rich is a self-made man. I'm gonna let him give his own story. I'm gonna let him introduce himself here, and we're gonna be rocking and rolling with it. What do you got to say about that, Rich?
Yeah. What's going on, guys? Yeah. Self-made's yeah, that's a stretch there, but we're working on it. Yeah, I met Nick, back in like what was that, Nick? 2013, probably late that year or something.
No, because I graduated high school in 14, so 15.
Like 2015.
14
oh
or
yeah,
15.
you're a little baby compared to me. I forget. So yeah, once Nick was out his freshman year, yeah, why were you living off campus your freshman year, dude?
Yeah,
that's
that's
a
right.
long
You were.
story.
What's going on with that? You got kicked out of the dorms for
No,
smoking too much pot?
Okay, so I'll tell the story.
No, yeah, I was gonna say you enrolled too late.
Long story short, I enrolled way too late.
Jeez.
Because Mizzou accepts everybody.
Mizzou.
Hey, no, that was prestige, man. We got in there on merit only.
Yeah, right.
Oh man. But yeah, anyways,
Gears Blackball
Jeez.
said, sorry to cut you off, Richie. Blackball says can't figure
You're good,
Pally
bro.
Power, can't figure Twitch.
I can't
Damn.
figure I can't figure out the dashboard for some reason. I think I'm fucking
You don't need to
I'm
figure
a
it
Twitch.
out.
I do need to figure it out, but it's fine.
Why?
I'm fully engaged listening.
So we met
Oh,
we
goodness.
met when I was a freshman in college in 2014, and things have changed for you since then. Things haven't changed all that much for me. I'm still
Things
just
changed for you a little bit. I mean, like you have a studio at your house now. I mean, that's about all
pretty
that has
sick.
changed. But
Yeah, I mean, I'm moving to Colorado.
You say that. We'll see.
All right.
That's what I say. That's what I say.
Listen, we
Well-
know Nick, all right? He's bound to be back in LA within a couple years.
No,
No,
I'm
I don't
done
believe
with
that.
LA.
He'll always be in Chicago. Chicago just reels him back in every time.
No, I don't
Dude,
like
and
it here.
away from the stereotype, which like I don't mean this in a bad way, but I couldn't imagine you outside of your parents' basement, and not in the weird stereotypical way, but like within the next like few years.
No, I'm leaving in March.
Yeah,
You're
we'll see.
thriving, bro.
What?
We'll see about that.
Thriving? I'm definitely not thriving here. That's absurd. You know that's a meme.
It's a meme. Yeah, it is.
Carry
But-
on though. Who are you,
Yeah,
Rich? I don't know who you
so-
are. You're just some guy.
Well,
You're just some guy right now. Like who are
Until you
you?
introduce yourself properly,
last,
everybody's like, "Who's this guy?"
yeah, sorry. So I'm from Springfield, Missouri, and that is
Hey.
like Southwest Mo. Nick's favorite city in the country, actually. Ask him about that.
Worst 2 cities in the country.
Yeah, no.
What,
it's
Springfield and Columbia?
St.
in
Louis.
Columbia.
Oh, and St. Louis. Oh, okay.
What's St. Louis have to do with that?
You asked me my favorite cities, and Springfield happens to be my second least favorite.
Gotcha. Okay. Anyways, wonder why. Yeah. Anyways, I grew up here. I thought I was gonna play baseball my whole life. Threw my arm out. That whole sad story. Um, Started going to college for business administration. I was gonna minor in Spanish. Met Nick on the bus one day. I was a delinquent back then. Smoked pot all the time.
This was a good story.
Um,
let me tell the story because this is good shit.
Sure. Yeah. You'll probably tell it better than I can.
I'm on the bus, full blown introvert. I didn't speak to a single person. This is probably 3 weeks into my freshman year of college, and like I don't talk to anybody. And then I'm sitting on the bus on the way back to our apartment complex, which was off campus, and this dude sits down next to me, and he's just like, "Hey, I'm Abel," and I was like, "Oh, like, hello, like you're talking to me," and he just strikes up a conversation immediately, and long story short, this dude's talking to me. He's like, "I don't live here. I don't really live anywhere. I'm an enigma, but my boy Richie lives here." And I was like, "Oh, like, do you guys smoke pot?" And then Abel laughs. He turns to Rich, and he's like, "Hey, Rich, this dude just asked me if we smoke pot." and
I died laughing because we did.
He died laughing, and our friendship bloomed from there.
That's great.
That same day, so we got off the bus to go back into the our respective apartments or whatever at the time, and we were like, "Yo, we're in A301 or whatever the heck it was," and isn't that weird that you don't even remember where you used to live? But
no clue.
Anyways, Nick shows up, and like we just expected him to come by, like maybe bring some of his own, if not just to mooch and like hang out. Dude shows up with a tabletop like vaporizer, his own like whole bag full of kush and all this other stuff. So like from the very gate basically, I've always been like, okay, Nick's either like very overly giving or just like extremely wealthy, and I couldn't make it out back then, and now I know which one it is. As we all do, but no, I'm just kidding. Nick's a can't say it, my wife's home. He's something out there. But anyways, yeah, so we met, we became like best of buds right off the back there, and then yeah, you had like some super weird roommate at the time, and so I never went to your place. You were always over at ours.
Yeah.
And then
my hookah lived at your place for like that whole semester.
Yeah. So I ended up like that winter, like I think I met you in like August or September, October, somewhere in there, and then like that December, I was pledging a fraternity at the time, which is like the worst mistake of my life. Literally, don't do it. Whoever's younger than me listening to this.
I've pledged a fraternity. I'm right there with you.
Yeah, bro. So like,
pay people to bully
I made
you.
it through it all, but long story short, like one night they were having this like 3 a.m. workout, right? So they called everybody and like, get up to the house right now, to the basement. We're doing a workout, and like, to us, that basically means like we're gonna have the absolute shit beat out of us. Like,
they called it an event for us. They would say, "Hey, we're having an event." I'd be like, "Oh fuck, we're fucked." Great.
Like you'd be doing like leg flutters, and they're like waterboarding you with vodka, and like it was just awful. So like the 5th time this is now, and they're like, "Hey, get out of bed again." So we were like, "We're not going to that. Let's like ditch out." So we grabbed all of our stuff, ran out to the stadium parking lot, which is like where the football field was, and went in the car, rolled a blunt, went out there, smoked, came back, and we were sitting there, and we like see a bicycle cop like way off, and we were like, no. We're like, "Hey, it's cool, and like for some reason 2 of the 4 of us left our little baggies in the car. The other 2 of us, myself included, brought them outside of the car with us. And so we get out, and the guy comes biking over, and he's like, hey, stop for a second. You guys smell like weed, blah, blah, blah. Sit us all down. Long story short, I get arrested with my buddy. We get pulled into the, facility at the campus for like 2 or 3 hours. And, thankfully I was 18 at this time. I was super young for like the grade I was in. 18 at the time. They wiped it from my record. All that stuff is good. But what happened was I couldn't financially support the tickets and all that stuff. So I had to tell somebody that was older than me that could give me some money. So I told my grandma, my dad's mom, and like, dude, 3 weeks she sat on the secret and didn't ever splurge. And then I come home for Christmas because it happened like December 1st. I'm home, December 15th or whatever, uh, for Christmas break. And I come back and my dad's like, hey, I got something in the mail. I was talking to your grandma, and she told me the whole freaking thing basically. And I was like, this lady, no way, bro.
Damn.
And
Grandma's the
so,
snitch, dude.
yeah, bro.
Come on, Grandma.
Oh no.
Fuck.
Well, hold the the hate because she died like 2 weeks later.
Oh,
No.
Yeah,
What?
so
She
What the
almost
fuck?
brought her to her
Terrible.
grave. She
I
was
know,
so
bro.
close, dude.
That's
So like,
fucked.
it was like one of those lesson learned things of like, like looking back, it's like she felt like she was doing the right thing. How could I possibly be mad at her?
Yeah,
Probably
fuck it.
actually did set me on a better path. The path that I'm talking about is she told my dad about it. My dad was like, hey, you're not going back to that school or that fraternity unless you're paying it, basically. And at the time, he was paying my college. I had a little bit of a scholarship for my ACT. But he was paying it all, and he was like, hey, you're paying it all if you're going back there. Like, that school is straight up trouble for you. And so I was like, I forget
that
what it
was
was,
a
like,
fair assessment, honestly.
yeah, I mean, it was like,
Fuck.
17 grand a year for the school, and then the fraternity was like another two. And I was like, I don't even have a job, so like that's not gonna fly. So I left Mizzou, moved back in with my parents. That was like, the walk of shame back home
You only
to
lived with
my
them for
friends and
like
family.
2 months.
No, it was like 6, I think.
Was it
But
really?
to my friends, dude, it was like, hey, to them, I failed out of college, come back home, living with my parents. So it was like this huge, shameful, like public thing I had to do. You get a Wild Turkey Wednesday on Thanksgiving. I was like, what are you doing now? And you're like, I'm back home,
Not shit.
whatever. So
Not shit.
a lot of people can relate to that, I'm sure. But
Been there.
yeah. So
Currently
that
there.
happened. I worked at a pizza place. I worked at a flooring place. I worked at Sears, and I managed Sears for a little bit. Worked at a
remember
graphic
that.
designer place, and I was doing graphic design for like this T-shirt print house, which kind of was like the spike of like the beginning of like everything I got into. So when I started there, I was like, I had done Photoshop stuff and like web design and like coding, JavaScript, HTML5, CSS, and all that stuff when I was like younger, and I hadn't kind of like readdressed any of that since I was like 16, 17. um and so I started doing it for this print shop, and long story short, I got fired from there because it's the first job I got fired from. But I just had this like authority issue. I just like could not stand like ignorant business owners like not knowing like what they were doing, and I just kept having all these suggestions, and they would just like ignore me blatantly or whatever. And so like they were having this meeting one day, and like the meeting was totally pointless. She addressed me in the beginning of it because I was like her guy to go to. And after the meeting was over, I was like, sick, all right, I'm bouncing for lunch. And like I left like after she was done talking to me, so like my portion of the meeting, but not after the meeting was done. So I just kind of like left.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I roll up in the sandwich shop and I get a call, and she's like, yo, where are you at? And I was like, oh, I just got to lunch. She's like, what do you mean? We were in the middle of a meeting or whatever. And she's like, come back here now. And I was like, here we go. So I waited in line and still grabbed my sandwich because I knew I was getting canned. So went back there, and yeah, she
Love
like
that
cried,
shit.
and she cried and hugged me as she fired me. It was the
And fired you?
weirdest experience
Damn.
I've gone through. But um anyways, all that goes to say, then 2 days later I had a job with this dude, family friend of a friend of I don't know, how all that works.
He's a friend of
Yeah, yeah,
mine.
of course.
So I'm running this dude's. He has like 3 Amazon stores. I built him like 5 websites, and he had a property management company. So I was doing all that stuff, and I did that for 2 years under this guy's wing. He was very successful, and still is successful entrepreneurial guy, but he's just very like I don't even know what the like eccentric almost. Like he just like will think of an idea and he's like, figure it out. I don't know how long it's gonna take. Just do it. That's what I
Yeah.
want, so do it. And I was like,
Fuck yeah.
okay. And I'd be like, here we go. And like the next 40, the next week at work, 40 hours at work, I'd be like, all right, working on this one problem. So I did that, and then I was like, funny thing about the sandwich shop. I've never pieced this together. That's actually really funny. Sandwich shop again. So while I'm working at that job, like a year and a half into it, I worked there for about 2 years. My dad asked me to go to lunch. He lives here in town with me, so I would meet up with him like once a month or whatever. And so we go to the sandwich shop, Jersey Mike's, which trash sandwiches. That's super
Dude, don't
controversial.
slander
Whoa.
Jersey
Yeah,
Mike's. I
Jersey
love
Mike's
Jersey
is
Mike's.
good.
Mike's
What?
way,
That's
Mike's
such a
way,
slander, dude.
Mike's
You're
way.
No,
insane,
listen.
dude.
Hey, I've rescinded my Jersey Mike's hate. I
Jesus.
tried it again recently.
You
It's
rescinded
It's
it.
good.
All
fire,
right.
dude. It's
I'll
fire.
go
But
back.
keep going. Keep
I'll go
going.
back.
Keep going.
I'll go back.
I think
Anyway,
they
so we're standing
updated
there
their
in line.
ingredients or something.
Yeah.
They better have, because man, I was out for the count. So we're like standing there in line, and I'm not kidding. Like this dude behind us was like my grandpa's like buddy, and my dad, he owns. If you didn't backstory all this part, but he owned his own business for like still does. So it's been like 40 years almost. He's owned his own business. So like 33, 37 at the time. I don't know. So anyways, he turns around, he's like, oh hey man, like what's going on or whatever, and he's like, yeah, this is my son, like this is what he does, whatever. We're still waiting in line because Jersey Mike's poor customer service can't push you through the line.
Ricochets everywhere.
Yeah, they're still layering the meat from the first sandwich when I got there. It's just so much. So anyways, the guy's like, yeah, like sit down with me or whatever, like let's all sit down. So I sit down with the dude, and he's like, hey, I'm building this hotel, like we're gonna get all this stuff rolling, like if you do this stuff, like what would you charge me to do this? And I was like, and I had no idea what to charge him. I was getting paid $12 an hour, and like I just spurted out $20 an hour. I had no idea like what to tell him, so I was just like $20 an hour. He's like, can you do it for me 20 hours a week? And I was like, okay, yeah. And I was like, dang, that's like way more, and I'm getting paid right now. So long story short, I lock that deal in, and I tell my boss, I'm like, hey, I got to roll hours back like 35. 2 weeks later, pick up another client, rolling back the hours to 30. Another 2 or 3 weeks later, I had like 3 more after that. Rolled my hours back to like 25. And then my boss was like, bro, like, what are you doing right now? Are you like for 2 years now you've been doing this and you've been at 40 hours a week. So how are you still handling everything in the 25 hour? And I was like, well, I've built all the sites and I have my systems and processes down. Like I'm just really fast and good at everything now. And like, I promise I'm not gonna let anything slack. Like if anything slacks, like tell me and I'll get on it.
Yeah.
And so I was like busting my butt over there and like another 30 or 40 hours a week on my side thing. So once my like income had passed what my normal original 40 hours a week at $12 an hour was, which again was like garbage money at the time and still kind of is, it's like what, $400 every 2 weeks or something
That's
like
not.
that.
It's not
It's like
shit.
nothing, yeah.
Yeah,
$12 an
I mean
hour
it
isn't
was
shit.
awful. So I passed that and like probably by a little bit, and like my like monthly retainer was up to, I have no idea, like $2,000 or $3,000 a month, and I was like, oh my gosh, I made it, blah blah blah. And so like March 1st that time, he sat me down and was like, what's going on, man? And like I basically just quit like right there in the spot. So looking back, hilariously, I left there and I was so happy. I like cried as I was leaving. I was like, I freaking finally made it. I'm self-sufficient. I don't have to rely on anybody. I'm making my own paycheck. I lived in this house by myself at the time, so I was like, I'm paying my whole house by myself. Like, I like felt so successful at the time, and we were pulling. I myself was pulling like maybe like 30,000 a year, and but to me at that time that was success, and so
Yeah.
I was like amped on it. So long story short, I hired another employee to come help me. I went to this business networking thing. This lady's son who was there, she's like, hey, he just graduated high school. He doesn't want to go to college. And I was like, have him come work for me for $10 an hour. And so sat him down. He would literally come into my house in my 3rd bedroom every day and sit down at this
My
little
room.
janky desk I just had left over. Nick's room, the one he broke in. And and this kid would work for like 10 hours a week at first, then 20, then 30, then 40. And then I was finally like, hey, we need another person. So my dad, his family, his brothers and sisters and him own commercial property together. They had this one building go vacant, so I was like, hey, let me just like pop in there just a few months, like, and let's see what we can do. And so I went in there, hired another dude. That guy is still with me to this day. So he's been with me for like 2.5 years now.
Oh yeah.
Which is dope because like I met him, and I'll keep this part short, but I was like taking photographs of this property. He was like literally washing the windows there, and he was like, bro, I'm interested in photography. Like, what are you doing? And I was like, oh, I do this, whatever. And like 6 weeks later, I was hiring, and he had followed us on social and applied for it. I brought him in,
Nice.
and it was like perfect fit and hired him. So like I
That's
live for that
badass.
like small world stuff, where someone just like pops
Hell
into your
yeah.
life randomly somehow, and it just like works. And like a ton of the stuff that I've done, and like I just count it up to like luck or the secret of the universe. all that BS, whatever you want to call it. But
You
I
kind of
just think it's
have to
dope.
be like small world, like you have to be willing to like
Yeah.
interact with people you know and stuff when you're, especially like Springfield is not like an enormous city or anything, right?
It's pretty
Yeah,
big.
we've got 350 metropolitan, 350.
Oh, so I mean it's decent. It's decently sized.
Yeah, I mean it's not like
I talk shit about
rinky-dink
Springfield
town, but-
regularly, but like to give you some perspective, like Springfield's actually a pretty nice area that is significantly nicer than Joliet.
Right. Yeah, but
Well, it's way
I-
bigger. It's fucking. It's huge compared to Joliet.
Yeah.
Wait, is it?
Joliet's like yeah.
You said
what?
it's 350 metro?
Joliet compared to Springfield? That's way different.
Yeah, I don't know, our
Springfield. He's
city
talking about
limits are-
Springfield, Missouri.
Yeah.
It's
Oh, I
probably
guess
like
it
a
is.
15 miles by 50 miles square. I mean,
Well, you're just
maybe.
talking about population.
But yeah, I mean, population wise, I mean, yeah, I mean,
No, they're like
it-
nearly identical in terms of.
are they?
Yeah, they're very similar. Springfield is a little bit bigger, but not by
Springfield,
much.
Missouri population as of 2020, 170,000.
We'll do metro. Yeah.
Joliet is 150.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah,
Holy shit.
but sorry, interjection.
Yeah,
but
this is saying the metro is 460,000.
That's
which
pretty
means,
big.
like,
I don't know
many
how
people
you.
come to the city for work. And all
Yeah,
that
for
stuff.
work, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know
So
if
it
you
kind of gives like a
can-
better estimate to the size of the city, just because the office space and buildings and all that.
I don't know
That's
where
nuts.
to get that number for Joliet, but I know Joliet's probably not
Man.
that big metro-wise, but it's
Joliet is a
because
shit-
Chicago is such a metro hog. But
Joliet's a shithole.
I hate Joliet. Like I
Yeah,
don't
it's
care.
sad.
Like I don't care what anyone says. Like I mean,
Nick,
it's
you
not like
savage.
it's not the absolute worst, but like it is the absolute worst. Like I don't know. I don't know why.
Yeah, I
can't
mean,
stand it.
I've driven through a few times, and I'll
Hmm.
text Nick and be like, "Your signs suck," or something.
Yeah.
yeah,
like that, but
It's just weird. But go on. So
yeah, no, you're good.
you
So,
checked out your building. So we're at you grabbed your own space for a while, or
so
what's
you've
going
got
on?
you've got
Yeah,
two
like-
or three employees at this point. Three, right?
we had
You and
two.
three.
No, we had two.
Two.
So like, there's actually a small world story about that too. But like, so we had two employees, and then we moved into the upstairs of this gigantic building, but we could only be in the upstairs. It was a super weird like rule they had. So you'd have
Somebody
to
said,
like
"Bury
walk
me
through
in
the
double
whole
J's."
building.
Go ahead,
Sorry.
What's that? What does that mean?
It's a bar in Joliet.
It's a bar. Hey, it's low
Oh,
key.
gosh.
Just want to plug this. It's a bar right next to one of my favorite hamburger restaurants. It's called Hamburger Saria, and they got the fire hamburgers.
You said
Burgers,
that so
cheeseburgers,
white.
everything. It's so good,
Hamburger
dude.
Saria, huh?
It's a
Hamburger
Mexican
Saria.
hamburger joint.
No, it's not. It's like a it's Gurseria is like Italian, like a pizzeria or like fucking.
He
It's
said
not.
I
It,
had that yesterday.
yeah, it's
Wait.
so good. It's so good. But sorry, go ahead.
Somebody
That's
had
I'm gonna have to go get a
yesterday in chat.
burger.
Bro, my wife's cooking dinner right now. She makes this thing. It's chicken, potatoes, and bacon casserole.
Ooh.
It's like a deep dish pan, like
That
just
sounds
filled with all the stuff,
amazing.
bro. And she cooks it for like an hour.
Hell
It's
yeah.
so good.
Bakes that shit.
Anyways, yeah, maybe if she's done by the end of
Yeah.
this, I'll have a little pic of it. But anyways,
Nice.
so yeah, like long story short, there the three of us in there, and like the space was like weirdly too big for us to be in there, but it was just like affordable. We paid like $300 a month or something to be in there. So long story short, I hired another girl. She came in as our like photographer, moved the first guy I hired for photo over to a different role. Foreshadowing, he's moved like 7 roles since then, because like that's just how small business works. You have no idea what you're doing. You literally just make it up as you go.
Mhm.
And so like it was just like, he was like, "Hey, I kind of want to do this." I'm like, "Sick, you're doing this now." And he's like, "I kind of like also want to do this." I'm like, "Cool, do both." And then it was just like we just kept moving him
Like
basically. So
just do everything while you're at it. Like,
yeah, and it kind of plays in, like I was telling you guys earlier, like before the pod started, like it was just like how I am too. Like it was just like I had done Photoshop since I was 14. I was building websites since I was like 15. I've been doing photo and video since I was like 12. My grandma bought
yeah.
me a camera, and I was like was obsessed with the stuff. And I never like until I was about like 22 or so, which is like where I am in the story right now. I never had realized like all that crap I was doing for fun as a kid, I could like actually charge people money for and
Oh,
like
yeah.
make
Yeah.
a good living off of it.
And just to clarify,
unfortunately,
how old are you now? Just to
I'm
clarify.
26. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So it's about, like-
We're all 26.
Yeah. When do you
Oh,
turn
sick.
27?
May 14th, so that'll be 6 months
Okay,
or so.
so
Yeah.
in 2022, yeah, we just all turned 26 like months
Oh,
ago.
sick.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. So I've got you guys.
Kyle,
by a couple months, but-
that place is pronounced. It's pronounced hamburgueseria. It's literally it's Spanish for hamburger shop.
Yeah, but I'm
Yeah.
saying it's not. They're not.
Hamburguesa.
It's not like a Mexican type like deal. Like go
No, I'm
there.
just saying like it's probably owned by like
No, it's
probably like
not.
Mexican.
It's not. Like I literally know the owners. Like that's what I'm saying. Like just to cut this off really quick, a guy that I work with, his wife is best friends with the owner, and they are both Italian as fuck. Like it's not Mexican.
Okay.
Go ahead.
It's Spanish for hamburger shop.
Yeah, it
But
really,
go ahead.
Yeah, it definitely is. Yeah.
It's murder for murder because their burgers are fucking fire, dude. Like that's all I care about.
¿Alguien entiendes español?
I don't speak any type of
I
Spanish.
used to. I don't anymore. I used to like. I took 6 years. That shit. I almost had a minor in it in college. I was one semester away, and I can't speak a lick
Really?
of that shit anymore. Yeah.
Bro,
It's
same.
wild. It's so like you were saying, how you were saying earlier, like you forget where
Yeah.
you lived and shit. It's like that shit. You stop using it for a year, it's
Spanish
gone.
in college?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
I took
yeah. Oh, we
French
both
for a
did.
year. I took French
Yeah.
for a year. I was pretty good, and yeah, I couldn't tell you anything.
That's funny.
Yeah. It's just it's such a way. I bet it would. I bet you'd pick up on it again really fast if I needed to learn it again, but I never will. So it's just probably
Dude,
going
normally
forever.
like reading it and like listening to it is so much easier than producing with all that when you haven't done it in a while because it's definitely like riding a bike. You have to kind of like get back into the vibe of it, but
Yeah.
it's tough. Anytime I have a few beers, I'm like, let's speak some Spanish.
Nice. Hell yeah.
Yeah,
That's sick.
funny.
All right, but keep going, keep going. We
Yeah.
keep
So
cutting you off. Sorry.
you're good. So, anyways, in this little rinky-dink office, the coolest part about it was that we had like the best signage in town. Like it was one of the main roads, and we had this like 4 foot by 8 foot sign sitting out there. And so from that sign, we landed the like largest liquor store in town because the marketing manager is driving by on her way to work, and she's like, "Hey, I saw you guys' sign. What do you guys do? It seems like you're in a huge building, and we're like up nestled in the little attic of it, or whatever it is." And so we were like, "Yeah, like we." We can totally service you guys. And so we went and took the meeting. It was our biggest client. We landed him. We kept him for about 2 years. We lost him like 6 months ago, which is super sad. But that client was able to, that influx in income. And from that location, we had picked up, 10 or 15 clients by then. So we were servicing like 20 at the time. Finally got us enough like revenue to be able to go into an actual office space, build it out to be our own. We can have meetings there, that kind of stuff. So we went from like 1,800 square feet of like pure awkwardness to like 1,000 square feet of like really efficient office space. So we finally built out the office how we wanted. We had a year lease there. Sure enough, I got another break with that one. The guy who leased me the building used to mow my grandparents' lawn, and like
That's nuts.
that's just how Springfield goes, dude. It's just
Yeah,
like,
man.
oh yeah, wait, you're a Haik? What's going on with that? And then like, sure enough, like Bob's your uncle, whatever. So, but yeah, we sat there for a while. Got like 2 or 3 more employees before that year was out. So we were up to like 6, I think, at that point. And our revenue in like 2019, the very first year when I quit my job from like March to December, was like I think like 120,000 or so. Which I don't know what that is. 10,000 a month on average. Like I told you guys, it was super low back then. 2020 when we were in the ghetto office / kind of the new office, we did like 280,000 or something like that. So it was
Damn,
like
yeah.
almost 3 times it. And so we were in that space for a while. I met Courtney Gerwig, who I interviewed this dude, and like the second he left the interview, I just turned around to the team with this huge smile on my face, and I was like, that dude is good, and I'm gonna do whatever it takes to get him in here. Long story short, he's been my best man at my wedding. We're best friends.
Did I show
and
you
he's
the
a
guy?
5%
Did I show you
5%
guys
owner.
Gears and Kyle? Did I show you guys the video of the guy singing at Richie's bachelor party?
Oh, bro, I'll pull that up now if you
I
let
think
me.
so.
I think you did, Dons.
Shit was insane.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember you did because you specifically you Snapchat me and you're like, this dude can sing, and I was like, oh no shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know exactly
Where
what you're talking
even
about.
were we, bro?
We were at that karaoke bar and we're in
Yeah, but I'm
Arkansas.
trying to find like what part of Arkansas we were even in.
So where did your
My
you
like
said that
map
was
thing is
20
kind of-
you said that was 2020 or 2021 that you went up to like 280?
That was 2020. Oh, bro. So can I just play like a one
Yeah,
10 second
play
audio
it.
clip
I
of
was trying
this?
to
But
fill I was trying to
I
fill
don't want
time
to
while you
piss
were
the stream
looking.
off. You're good. You're good. It was 2020 though. So
I honestly don't know if you can play it.
you're
Yeah,
not gonna
you'll
get
be fine
flagged.
as long as it's like like under 10 seconds will be okay.
All right, cool.
Yeah, I'll do. It's literally a 10-second clip. I'll just play it.
Sure.
All right. Oh shite.
Oh yeah.
And then it cuts off. But yeah, I mean, you get the idea.
He
The dude's
Yeah.
he
He's
went to
real
music
deal.
school and all that, and yeah,
Yeah, you
he's
can
good.
sing for real, yeah.
That's badass.
Um,
Hell
yeah,
yeah.
and like he's his own little handful. I told him to get on here and watch us. I was like, get on here so I can bash you.
Nice.
There you go.
Anyway, so like yeah, we I met him, made him 5% owner. We started the wedding portion of the business, so we started offering wedding photo and video, and like that alone before that was from like August to December of 2020, and we like just in that business alone we had like 80 grand in weddings booked out for the next year, which was like insane. So like the stuff was just popping off, and it was like this overwhelming, seemingly great success thing. But like what I have not told, which like I hope none of my employees watch this, but what I haven't told like a lot of the people is like
You're getting
throughout
fucked.
all of those times, like dude, like sometime I want to say like late 2020, it was probably like August or like October, September, somewhere in there. It was like getting cold out. I had known my now wife for about like 5 months at the time. And like, dude, I remember like crying in her arms because like we had like $300 in our bank account at one time. And it was like, dude, my payroll was like 5 or 6 grand every 2 weeks at that time. And I
Yeah.
was like, I got like,
Fuck.
like 5 days till payroll hits. And like, I got to figure this stuff out. And like, somehow every single time we've made it. And like,
That's
we've
wild.
gotten up to have
Hell
we've gotten
yeah.
up to have like 100 grand in our account to being all the way down like we just were, and like it's just always fluctuating, and there's no safety net. And unfortunately, like this was all in the midst of COVID, mind you, right? So like March 1st of 2020, I had roughly like $200,000 in retainer just for the alpha portion of the business, and we lost half of it like in a month, like literally almost all of it. So like that like killed us, and I had to like put everybody part-time and all that. I had like employees going into that like COVID deal where it was like they made more money not working than they did coming back to work. So I was like
Yeah.
begging them to come back to work, and they were like basically saying no because they were making like an extra $200 a week from just sitting at home. And I was like, in my head, I was like, I felt like cheated on or like, betrayed, because it was like, guys, like, that like this is my entire life. Like, I don't have that luxury. And so like, unless you step
Right.
up to the plate and like give me something and like come help, like I'm just stranded. And so,
Did you guys qualify for PPP loans though?
dude, we did actually. Yeah, I got about 10 grand off that.
Oh, that's not that much
Of
though.
the
Like
payroll or whatever. And no, it wasn't a
that's
lot.
like
I
not
had
a lot.
one of my buddies owns a construction company, and he got like $300,000 off of
Yeah.
it. But
Holy
he's also
shit.
got like 80 contract workers that are all doing concrete like $1 million jobs and all that.
Yeah,
But
so we saw an influx of that, which kind of like that my distribution industry that I work for obviously deals with contractors a lot, like
yeah,
construction. And so those guys make so much money that a lot of them didn't really go on unemployment unless they were laid off, or and they've got the unions and shit too in Illinois. But a lot of these businesses put in for these big PPP loans because of their payroll requests. And
yeah,
then we saw a big influx in like underbidding, where guys were like cheating their bids down to win work, and then using the PPP influx to like cover the difference in the bid. And
jeez, yeah,
yeah, really like
That's wild.
shady. Like I guess not really like that shady, but you're like usually when
That's
you work
pretty
when
fucking
you do
shady.
bid work, yeah, when you do bid work, especially when you're talking about like construction, like everybody's like you kind of win by like margin, right? It's like not super, but like somebody would come in on a
Yeah,
bid that was like somebody come in on a bid that was like 30 grand, 50 grand. If it's a big job, 100 grand under. You're like, how are you 100 grand cheaper than everybody else? Especially because like the guys that are the cheap ones are 100. You know what I mean? Like you are usually in
yeah.
the yeah, so we saw a little bit of that where it was like, yeah, the PPP loans were like floating some of the business for a while
Dude,
there.
it's wild. And like, I mean, honestly, it helped back at the time. Like, I was one of the small businesses that actually needed it. Not like I was
Yeah, oh
sick. I
yeah,
got 50 grand, like pocket that and like, whatever. But yeah, I mean, there's been so many like advancements and EIDL stuff. Like, it's endless, dude. And one of the, which like, I don't want to bore everybody, but like if you want to start your own business, like CPA is one of the biggest and most important things you can possibly secure. Is like a CPA is going to shoot you straight and be like, bro, this is what the law says. This is how much we can go on this. This is like breaking it. We're going to stick over here, but like in order to take full advantage of what our resources are, like this is what you have to do. Because most of them will just like like, hey, every quarter I'm going to send you a report and I'll do your quarterly payroll taxes and it's $500 and you never see him again. And like
yeah,
mine goes above, like he files stuff that I don't even ask him to do. And like, you'll just get a check in the mail and it's like, oh yeah, I filled you out the blah, blah, blah advancement loan. And here's like 3 grand. And you're like,
yeah.
wow, thank you.
Oh yeah.
Like all that kind of stuff. So that's been super helpful. But yeah, fast forward, 2020 we ended up surviving. Came out like at the end of it really well actually, and we were lease ended, found a new spot with my cousin again, using the nepotist side of myself to figure out where I can go for what. So
Insanity.
yeah, my cousin owned a warehouse with like 3,000 square feet of office space up
Damn.
front, or like 3,500 square feet. So I asked him to rent the 3,500 square feet from him, which anywhere in town would have been 3 to 4,000 a month or something like that. And he hit me with like 1,500 a month plus utilities. So it's like
Damn,
2,000 a month basically to be up in there. So again, very fortunate and blessed just to have that like
opportunity.
opportunity and
Yeah,
whatever. And like, he was super set up. My grandpa loaned him 100 grand back in the day to start his car business. And he's like paying it forward throughout our family and all that, which I love and think is cool too.
right.
Um, but yes, I mean, like that's kind of where we're sitting now. We've been in that space since February of this year. So it's been like 8 months and, uh, even like 2 months ago, I had to fire somebody the first time. That was super rough. I mean, like
Damn.
the personal journey that I've gone through has been like extremely excruciating. Like no pun intended. I know that Nick's laughing at my ass over here, but
No, I'm
like
laughing at something else to be completely honest.
but yeah, it's just like even starting out, like I was literally just some nerdy kid with a computer, and I never thought I'd have to like build up the gumption to be able to like pull someone in my office and be like, hey, we need to sit down and talk about something. Your performance has been lacking, like, and I'm like shaking, basically like
Mm-hmm.
trying to like get this out of myself and like get it across to the person, and then like she starts crying and then leaves, and like you just feel like a dirt bag basically, and like ultimately you're just trying to protect yourself and like the business and like now my my mortgage and my family and all these things. So it's just like you got to be the bad guy. And there's that I think it's like Key and Peele or someone, but he's like, oh no, it's the new movie with Kevin Hart, Fatherhood. I don't know if anyone saw that. Do you guys watch that?
No, no, I
No.
didn't.
I haven't seen it now.
It's fine. I mean, it's nothing like crazy great, but I mean, it's like sappy love story. He becomes a single parent basically out of the
It's
whole thing, and
probably
like
dog shit.
you would probably hate it because you don't have a heart. But
This is
so
true. This is true.
the long story short, he's like his boss is getting on him, and he's like, "Hey man, I'm just the asshole. I have an asshole above me, and that asshole has an asshole above him." And like that was when it finally clicked for me. I was like, "That is literally how it has to be," just because it's like I'm just doing what like the business requires. You're like, if I had a manager that has to get on somebody beneath them, they have to do the same thing. And so it's just like, I hate to get like corporate and small business, but like that's just how it has to be. And my dad, like I was telling you guys, like he's owned a business forever now, and he's probably had like 50 to 100 employees over the last like 40 years, doing retail or whatever for him. And he's a savage with that stuff, dude. He's just numb to it now by this time.
Yeah,
And like, it's just like, he's like, hey, I like literally this is how he talks. He'd be like, "Hey, I told you that's not what's going on. It's not gonna be working. I'm gonna have to let you go. I'm sorry. Tomorrow's your last day. Goodbye." Like he's
Damn,
like
yeah.
just black and white with it, dude.
You
Like
definitely
super cold.
you definitely get desensitized to it to an extent.
Yeah, yeah. And it was funny too because
Um,
the morning I was supposed to fire that girl, I was watching a movie, and it was like about the guy firing someone and like him trying to like desensitize himself to it. And I was like, "A freaking course! This is like what I'm going through. God's playing tricks on me all the time."
it's
So
a hard thing to do to like attack somebody's livelihood. You know what I mean? Because like
yeah,
somebody can be a really good person, you
and
know,
a
or you
horrible
can like
employee.
somebody and
Oh
Yeah,
like
yeah,
just
that's what I was about
and
to
that's the other
say.
thing is like they could maybe be a bad employee, but they could be in the wrong role too. You know what I mean? Like, hey, this just isn't for
yeah,
you, and like we can't force it to work anymore. Like we're at the end point of that
yeah.
attempt. So, yeah, it's a tough. That's a really tough thing to
Dude, I'll
do.
say too, like I had like we have cameras throughout the whole building. Like I caught her watching Netflix before, like at great lengths of time, like
Yeah.
15 to minutes to an hour before. And so I like had to talk to her about that. And it's like, hey, that happens one more time. Like it's not gonna work out. And even that conversation was hard. But the funniest thing about it all, and this is why I think like even COVID was kind of a blessing because like it made you do things that were extremely out of your comfort zone and like totally left field out of the box in terms of like what is normal for business. So like it kicked all of us out of office for 2 months and we survived out of office for 2 months. I was like, why are we paying rent when I've had every client meeting over Zoom? I've had all my like employee stuff over Discord every single day. Like we have all of our voice channels and servers that we can go through. And it was just
Sick.
weird because like even with this girl now, we'd let her go and I've like barely noticed an increase in work. And same with my business partner Courtney. So like we both like took her role on together and have barely seen anything. So in like my head, I'm like, what was she doing all day? You know what I mean? It's like what were we
Yeah.
paying
Right.
someone, 6 to however many hours a day it was, to do all this stuff. And so like kind of like I was saying, like a blessing in disguise or just like something that sucked to go through, but was
Yeah.
a good outcome. And that's a famous quote. I'm not kidding. I'm famous for this quote.
Oh, it's your quote. Okay.
It's a my quote. I'm not famous for this, but I said this like 2 years ago, and it's always resonated with me. But it's like the greatest things in life come after the hardest conversations I have.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like because like before a conversation, you get a lot of anxiety and you get a lot of like tension and stuff built up before you like go to have it, and sometimes you just won't even have it because it's gonna have a lot of like forthcoming like just anxiety and like bad things to happen. But like I don't know about you guys, but like every breakup I've been through or any of that kind of stuff where you finally have to pull the trigger and like say or do the thing,
Dude,
it
I've
it
never had a
generally
good
ends up being
breakup.
good.
Yeah, but you have things
You're
wrong
Nick.
with you though.
Yeah.
All right, so let's take a pause because I have a couple of questions that I want to ask.
Yeah, yeah, hit it. I'm
The
done talking
first
for a
one,
bit.
the first one, which is probably the most important question that that it's all the way back at the beginning of the story.
Oh gosh.
Why didn't you guys run from the bike cop?
Okay, so I'm not gonna lie to you.
That's
So
great.
like in the what's right would have changed my entire life, right?
Yeah, right.
Think
I
about it.
mean,
It literally would have
God,
changed everything. I would
That's
still
a
be a
good
frat douche
question.
to this day.
I was like,
Um,
why a bike cop? Like, just get
What if
going, dude.
you
Like,
could've just
run the
dipped?
opposite direction.
Could've got
well,
out
Plus,
the
of-
like,
funny thing
just
too
run
is
faster than your buddies that weren't carrying any butt on them. Like, let those guys take the
Just
fall for
get
you.
gone, dog.
get gone for sure. But no, there were four of us. They like sat us down on the curb, and I don't know why we were all like cooperating, but it was one of those things where like I looked left, and there was this busy intersection. Nick, I don't know if you remember the streets. I don't, but it was like Stadium and Providence or something, which is like right on the stadium. So it's like the busiest intersection in town, basically. And I was like looking across it, and right on the other side was our dorms. And like normally there's a tunnel you go down through, but I was like, if I just ran across
Beeline, yeah,
traffic
yeah.
and just didn't die by
You'd be
cars,
gone. Yeah.
I would be gone because they would probably be responsible and not run across traffic. And like it was just this fleeting thought that never really registered as a viable option, honestly. So
Yeah, I remember that.
it's
Like,
like I
okay, so
thought I don't know, like a part of me thought I was gonna get away. Like I really thought I just wasn't gonna
okay,
get
that's what I
searched.
was about to say. So like I got arrested. I got arrested when I think I was 20. I was either 21 or 22. Like I was past the legal drinking age and whatever. But
Yeah.
I got arrested outside of a bar by a cop for public intox and then disorderly conduct after he put me in handcuffs. But like the whole time I'm thinking, like
I
the
can
whole
see
time
that.
until like literally I got arrested, I thought like this is just gonna like go a different way. You know what I mean? Like but especially when you're younger, like
Yeah.
first cops have like certain I'm not saying all cops, but like I feel like especially campus police, which I'm assuming this guy was based on your story.
Yeah.
They have like they've been like trained uniquely to like handle
Fuck you
and
in the ass as
approach
hard as possible.
people to be like, oh, like I'm your friend, even though I'm about to like ruin
Yeah.
your fucking life. It's a very
Yeah.
strange dynamic because like I was always very like I'm out of
Weary.
here if the cops are around. Like
Yeah,
I would just be,
fuck
you know what I mean?
that.
Like it was always you don't have to be
Yeah.
faster than the bear, you just have to be faster than the slowest person. Like these motherfuckers are not
Yeah,
gonna catch me,
yeah.
they'll catch somebody else. But yeah, man. So I was just like curious.
It's
I was like,
like-
4 people, bike cop. I was like, I'm
Yeah, if
out of
you'd
there,
have met
dude.
me,
Like,
there was 2 bike cops, but like that changed anything. But like,
yeah,
if you'd have met me back then too, like I was 100% the type of person to be like, just
yeah,
like out,
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And like
you
in
were.
high school, 100 times, you know, I'd literally been at parties where the cops
Yeah.
come in and like kids are jumping out the windows and like all that kind of stuff, and I would just somehow get lucky and get out of there.
Indiana had a segment of their what is it? Firearms and it's like firearms and explosives, or it's like firearms, tobacco, and something else. I think it's FTA, firearms,
Yeah.
tobacco, and something else. And it was called Excise, and it was literally like it was like 21 Jump Street, but like real life. So these cops would be like 35, 40 years old, but they'd roll up to like bars or like outside of parties in like jeans and black shirts and like look like I mean at some point like once you were there for like a couple months you'd like know, but if you were like a young freshman who was fucked up you'd have no idea they were cops, you know what I mean?
Jesus
And
Yeah.
so they would like literally roll up like looking all friendly like they were going to come into the party, and then they'd look for some drunk asshole to like walk out of the party and arrest them. Like it was so fucked up.
I
Excise, they'd
feel
like
like I feel like what you guys were saying, it's like almost what I'm thinking. It's like when you think that you're gonna get fucked is always when you actually run. But then that's when the cops probably wouldn't have actually fucked you. But like when you think everything's good and you're like, oh, like I'll just comply, everything's gonna be fine.
yeah.
That's when they're like, oh yeah, you're screwed, dude. Like for sure. Like
I mean,
you don't know how many times where it's like I feel like I've seen cops say like, "Oh yeah, like they just took off, but like I wasn't gonna do anything. Like I was just gonna sit, like give them a warning or some shit like that." You know what I'm saying? It's like whenever
Yeah.
people always freak out and like dip, that's when the cop was like, "I was just gonna like see what was going on." But then like when you're like, "All right, I'm just gonna play cool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just
Yeah.
comply. Everything's gonna be
Door under the
fine."
radar.
That's
Listen
when
to
the cop's
everything
like,
this
"All right,
sucker says.
all right, put your hands behind your
Yeah.
back right now, and you're getting
Yeah.
in my squad."
Yeah.
Like that's what you. I don't know. It's crazy. Like every
Yeah.
The time
story
I-
I've ever heard is like that.
the time I got arrested, I was compliant, thinking. So what ended up happening is I was outside of this bar, and my phone had died in the bar, and like I was like fucked up, but like nowhere near. I've been way fucking drunker in public than this. Like I'm talking like double drunk as this. And but I'm outside this bar, and I think what ended up happening, I don't know, my buddies were probably like chasing girls in the bar or whatever, and so they weren't in a big rush to like follow me up. So I'm kind of like loitering, basically. I'm loitering outside this bar waiting for, but I
Yeah.
had been in the bar, so I'm like waiting for my buddies to come back outside. um
Whoa.
and this cat, dude. And
And
so I'm waiting for my buddies to come back outside, and this cop comes over to me, and like I look, in full transparency, I looked very suspicious because like when you're when you're doing something like that in the 21st century, like what are you doing? You're on your phone, you know what I mean? So like I would have been like leaning toward next to a car, like scrolling through my phone, but like I was
what
like
was that?
looking. What I was doing was like looking in the bar for like one of my buddies to be like, yo, I can't call an Uber, like nobody's out here with me, like nobody, I'm trying to get like flag somebody down.
Why
like,
didn't you
somebody
just
come
go
out.
back in the bar?
I think I'd gotten thrown out of the bar.
Oh.
So, but again, getting thrown, I
You
didn't get
were in
thrown out for
bad
fighting
shape,
or anything,
bud.
which is normal. We were
Half as drunk as normal.
yeah, no, that's actually the funny thing. So I got thrown out of this bar because I remember, because we were like our table, we were throwing ice cubes back and forth with a table of girls.
Mm.
But it was our whole. There were these. I'm talking like big tables. There's probably 10 of us in this booth. Like it was like those real long, like crazy bar booths that they have at like college bars. So we were, and of course, but my big stupid ass, you know, I'm the biggest guy at the fucking table. The bouncers saw me and they're like, "Hey man, you got to go." And I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" So I like walked out, but I don't think my buddies realized like my phone was dead. And there's also like 15 other bars on the strip. I could have walked into another bar, but
you're
at
an
that point
idiot.
I was like, "Fuck this, I want to go home." So, anyways, this cop's like, I was like, he's like, you're trying to sneak into that bar, and then I think he thought I was under 21, which was like wild because I looked like I was like at 20, I looked like I was 26. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I probably had a full beard and stuff, and I was like, bro, I just got thrown out of that bar. Like, I'm not trying to go in there. Trust me. Like, I don't even want to go back in that place. But like, he's like, I literally told him the exact situation. I'm like, I'm waiting for my friends. My phone is dead. I have no way home. You know what I mean? He goes, you got two choices. He goes, you can either go somewhere else or you can come over here and like be the way he phrased it, right, is you can come over here by the cop car and be in my, so I can like keep an eye on you, is how he like kind of made it sound. So I'm like, I was like, dude, I really have no other options. Like my whole crew's in there and I don't have a way to call an Uber and I can't walk back to campus. We're too far. So I was like, dude, I'll just come with you. Like, I don't care. You can just keep an eye on me. So I literally go. I remember I'm sitting on the hood of his cop car, right? And he comes over to me and he's like, can I see your ID? Again, I think like my brain is like, oh, he thinks I'm underage and trying to sneak in this bar. And so I handed him my ID, dude. The minute I fucking handed him my ID, my legal 21-year-old ID, he puts me in fucking handcuffs. Now, I had obviously been mouthy with the cop because I'm always fucking mouthy, but I was like being I was being an asshole, but I was also being cordial enough to be like, whatever you say, I'm like doing. He threw me in handcuffs, and then he was like, and then I was like, you know, fuck you, fuck your mother, like anything I could think about this guy. I said, I was telling, like, because I'm in this big public space, right? So like people are walking by. I'm like telling people as they walk by, like, this cop is a cocksucker. Fuck this guy. Like, tell this guy to his face he's a fucking
like
pig piece of. Oh yeah, like anything I could think of. So then he came over to me and he's like, if you say anything else, I'm gonna tag on another charge. I was like, bro, you haven't even told me what you're charging with, you pig motherfucker. Like, you haven't even read me my fucking Miranda rights. You're a scumbag. No idea what you're doing, piece of shit cop. So then he's like, all right, I'm charging you with disorderly conduct too. So I got, I spent the whole fucking night. I spent the whole night in jail, the whole nine. I ended up going to court, and I got the public intox dropped because you can't arrest somebody outside of a bar unless they're like you have to basically be like assaulting, harassing. You can't just like arrest somebody for public intox on bars. Yeah, no, even in there's you can open carry in Indiana. That's the other thing. Like you can like, yeah. So like I would have to be like fighting somebody or like almost fighting somebody or like, you know, screaming into the bar or like I'm gonna fucking come in there and kill you. Like I would have had to be doing something for the cop to arrest me outside of just my presence. And so but because I had been such an asshole with all the other shit that I got stuck with the disorderly conduct charge. But all the other shit, and I didn't pay a dime. It was so funny. All I paid is the parking fee to get into the courtroom. This dude, this guy, I came in and my attorney, because I got a public defender or whatever. He's like, so this is what they want. And so I was like, okay, fair. He goes, all you'll have to pay is court fees and fines. So I was like, oh fuck, all right, whatever. That'll probably be like what, $200 to $500. I was like, I don't really care. So I go up and the cop's there, but the judge is reading all this shit off. He goes, all right, I'm waiving all fees and fines. I find you guilty of disorderly conduct. Punishment is time served. Have a good day. So I literally just walked out of the courtroom, didn't pay a dime. I mean, and that's the other thing is, Indiana has like super. You can get your record expunged for free.
Awesome.
Yeah.
How
so
do you
like
get it expunged for free?
Fuck the police.
They have like this.
That's ridiculous.
They have this nonprofit organization that basically like you can self expunge your record. Is how it works. So yeah, so I've never had to do it, but if I ever had a job that was like that you couldn't have that on your record or whatever, which at this point I probably never will, I can always just go back to Indiana and get it expunged too. So yeah, it worked out. But I know it's like that was the one time, like all the other times in my life, it's been like fuck the police, I'm out of here. And that one time I was like, this cop is like
exactly. You're like It's
I was
good.
like, I'm good here. Sure
It's
enough,
not
dude threw
good.
me in fucking handcuffs. I was so mad, dude. I remember to this
Oh,
day I was
man.
mad as fuck about that.
That's great.
And it's always funny too. I got arrested for some drinking, and my whole life it's been, avoid drinking and driving, but like you figure like if you're gonna get stuck, it's gonna be underage drinking, right? Or it's gonna be like, oh shit, I blew a .09 and I might drive home. Like those were always the things. Like don't get behind the wheel if you're even close, and like don't like run from the cops if you're underage and you're drinking at a party or whatever. And like I made it to 21. I'm not behind the wheel of a car, and sure enough, I got fucking taxed with a bullshit public intox charge. I spent the night in jail.
That's
Yeah, what's
wild.
funny about
Yeah.
that too is like half, if not like most of my friends got like MIPs and stuff throughout high school, and I don't know how I never got one, but it was a super common thing here. Like literally 60-70% of like our friend group is pretty bad.
Dude,
what?
Minor in possession.
yeah.
Oh, I didn't know
Um,
what that was either.
I never had to worry about that because I didn't do drugs, so that was always
No, alcohol counts.
oh, alcohol. Yeah. Oh yeah,
Minor in
mix, yeah.
possession of alcohol. So like if
Alcohol
you
works
got
too.
if you got pulled over for speeding and you're like in high school and you had like a beer in your car, it
Right,
might be.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so like it was all the time.
What was I gonna say? Oh, so I have a like I'll keep this one briefer, but I have a funny story about that. So spring break one year we went and visited one of our buddies from high school, and he was stationed in the Marines in Myrtle Beach. And so we went down to Myrtle Beach, or like we were on, I don't know, it was like Emerald Isle right by there. And dude, so we're on the beach, and obviously we're drinking, but we are underage at this point. But it's like it's a big drink. It's like public. You can drink on this beach. We brought our own booze, so we didn't have to really worry about. And we didn't think we had to worry about anything, right? So it's me and my girlfriend, my buddy that's a Marine, and his girlfriend at the time, and then another two people that aren't a couple, but it's another guy and a girl. So the night is like rounding out. So it's probably like 3 or 4, and we've been on the beach all day. So me and my girlfriend are like, all right, guys, like we're gonna like dip. You know what I mean? Like we're going back to the room, which like was walking distance from the beach. We're on this beach side. So we walk back to the room. We get back to the room, and like 2 fucking minutes after we got back to the room, my buddy, that's the Marine, burst into the fucking room. Like almost like he ran behind us. And we were like, what the fuck's going on? He goes, we just had a fucking beach cop roll up on us, and he's like, he I guess I don't know if he was ex-military or what, but he's like, he's instead of writing me a MIP, he's gonna call my commanding officer in the military. He's like, I have to change one of my buddy's names in my phone to my commanding officer, and call him and make him like tell him to pretend to be my
Oh my
my
god.
CO. And so
That's
we're like,
insane.
what the fuck? He's like, stay, he's telling us like, stay in the room, don't come back out there, obviously. And so they come, he leaves, they come back like an hour later. We're like, what the fuck happened? So the two girls that obviously weren't military got minors in possession 5 minutes after my girl and I had walked off the beach. And then both the Marines had gotten like, court ordered by their marshal, by their
Yeah.
CO, because my buddy was like quick on his feet and just called one of his buddies he's like, it wasn't technically a lie, he's technically is my CO, he just happens to be like only a rank higher than me, and we're like friends, we were in the same boot camp and shit. So he's like, it worked out. But yeah, I just remember like that was one of those close
That's
calls, like
wild.
5-minute incidents where it's like if we had fucking, if I had like rolled over my back to get a little bit more sun, we would have been fucked.
Dude, I
But
can't
yeah.
tell you how many close calls I've had throughout my entire life, and I'm not gonna get too much into this because I know Nick will just throw me straight under the boat. But like,
Probably.
it was all just God saving me, bro. And I know Nick's just gonna freak out. Yep, there he goes. But like, dude,
Boo.
I can look back to like 10 incidences where I just 100% should have been dead or in jail or not doing whatever the heck I was doing, and somehow like a miraculous like thing happened where it just didn't happen. Like death avoided like at least 5 times.
There you
Damn.
go.
Insane stuff. Best
Uh,
example, I'll give you one because that's just like a very big like thing to just leave out without even giving one example. Drunk drove home when I was like 16. Every single one of my friends was like, don't drive, don't drive, don't drive. And I was like in a super bad mood, just how you get gears. And I was like, F all you guys. Like, don't talk to me. I know what I'm doing. I'm driving home. Like, I'll call you when I get there. Leave me the F alone.
Kyle.
And
Does
oh, I have another one that can relate.
that sound familiar, Kyle?
Nah, never.
Does that
I was,
sound
I was
familiar?
thinking
Kyle?
about I was thinking about Toth. Toth used to always have to like rip the keys and like hide them out of Toth's like
yeah.
dying
Well,
hands.
I'm
He
fine.
was
was
I'm
like,
so
fine.
weird, though,
I'm
'cause
fine.
he would like put on a fucking act where he's like,
I'm
I'm
fine.
fine.
I'm fine.
yeah, I'm
What do
fine.
you-
I'm going home.
Like he would literally like fuck with your head. He'd be like, dude, I haven't even
Like,
been
is he
drinking.
fine?
Yeah.
He'd be like, what are you talking about?
I was like,
and then
bro,
you
we
think
just
about it, you're
ripped
like,
like 30 fucking shotguns down in the basement. My boss
You're like,
walked me
whose
through the
empty bottle is
drinking.
this?
I was like,
Yeah.
there's no way you're less drunk than me, and I'm wasted. Like, what are we doing here? Yeah.
But
fucking
anyway,
missed
so
those,
yeah,
bro.
I had a Camaro at the time, and it was just a V6 like RS. It wasn't like crazy powerful or anything, but
I like
was
that car.
going. Yeah, no, it was an awesome car. I had it for like 6 years or something, but I was going down this road, and it just like gradually like just turns off to the left, like super gradual, like maybe a 20-30% like curve differential or whatever. And I was just like kept going straight, and I just like slammed into the curb, bounced, and then like that's the only part I remember. I remember being like whoa, that was really bad. I'm going to be like absolutely effed, like so in trouble. And don't remember anything. Drove home, whatever. I wake up the next day at like way too early for how drunk I was, and I'm like, oh no. I was like, that no, did that happen? And I go down there, and I'm not kidding. I go into my garage, and my car's parked straight into the spot, and I look at my front right wheel, and it's hanging like this is normal. It's like this hanging
No.
It was
hanging
so
out of the front of my car, and I walked up to it and like kicked it, and it literally was like it moved, and I was
Holy
like, I could
shit.
probably rip it off with my hand, like just rip it off, whatever. So I eventually had to tell my dad, and like that was awful. My punishment was going to Walmart with my mom because I was so hungover. I was like throwing up and all this stuff, and so
Oh God,
she brought me
no.
into Walmart Supercenter, and like the whole time I'm walking through, and she's making me do all this stuff. So long story short, I had to pay the tow truck, pay the thing to get fixed, pay the whatever. Even dude, my dad, this is how much of a dick he is. So the tow truck comes by. Tow guy comes by in the morning, and the tow guy's like, "Man, I don't know how you made it back here. It must be an angel or something watching over you." Blah blah. And he's like, "I could just pull this off of my hand right now," and is like wiggling the wheel basically while the car is sitting there, like it's not
Yeah.
being suspended or anything. And I was like, he was like, "Where'd you do this at?" And I was like, "Up by like this grocery store." And he's like, "That's like 2 miles from here. Like that's impossible that you did that." I was like,
Do
"I
you know what
swear
you
that's
hit or
happened."
what did it? Do you have
It was
any
a
idea?
curb, like,
Oh, you
and
just curbed it?
he said I broke the ball bearing in the wheel, so it was just like
Damn.
barely hanging on, basically.
That's fucked.
And so he was like,
however many
literally,
times I hear
you
this
could not
story.
go. Yeah, it was like literally you couldn't go 10 more feet in this car right now. Like I don't know how my parents' driveway is like up this big hill and it's a curve.
Yeah.
So
Like that's the craziest part. Like these motherfuckers don't even know what your parents' house looks like. Like I bet you guys are thinking of a regular fuck driveway. Like it's like you guys know Natalie Yard's driveway.
Yeah.
It's like that, but on an incline. A
Oh, damn, yeah.
steep incline.
It's like 300 feet long, probably, but
Yeah,
just
I
like
gotcha.
a curve and goes up this thing or whatever. So, long story short, the tow truck guy's out there, and my dad's like, "Man, that's awful nice of him to come out here all this way this morning and get your car, or whatever. He even had to back it around or whatever, and it was awful nice of him, wasn't it, Rich?" And I was like, "Yeah, yeah." And he's like, and he was like, "That'd be awful nice. If you tipped him $100. You got $100 on you, don't you?" And I
Oh
was like,
no.
and he's like, "Why don't you go get $100 out of your room upstairs?" And I was like, "What the fuck?" And so I went up there.
And
Awesome.
$100 is like
$100.
$100 is like your world in
Yeah.
high school. Yeah.
Yeah, literally, it was like my entire I had like $400 my name maybe. I was working at
Yeah.
that grocery store that I passed at the time.
Yeah.
Shit.
And so yeah, my dad snatches that 100, gives it to the guy in addition to like what he had to pay him. So I had to pay my dad back
Oh,
eventually,
man.
and then dude did as like a just a prove a point kind of thing. But
Uh-huh.
dude, yeah, I had a lot of little fender benders like that. That one being the only alcohol related, but yeah, it's just
We had a buddy who drove home drunk and fell asleep turning into his cul-de-sac.
Oh my gosh.
And Like
we
he literally
did.
made it the whole fucking way. He was so close. He literally had to go.
He was like not
almost-
5
almost
minutes
the-
away from his house.
He wasn't-
almost
he
the
wasn't
opposite of your
30
story. He
seconds from
wasn't
his house.
14. He could have parked the car where he fell asleep and walked home and been okay. The car would have survived the next day. But
That's literally what he did.
he he parked it
believe-
after he fell asleep, like turning into his cul-de-sac,
Yeah.
and drove his car directly through his driveway and into his neighbor's like truck. Right, it was a truck or some shit that he hit.
No, it was before his cul-de-sac, and he drove it. So imagine just driving straight on the street, and like maybe half a block up, he had to turn into a cul-de-sac to go to his house.
Yeah.
Well, he fell asleep before the cul-de-sac and just drove into some dude's front yard, drove straight like side, like T-boned a dude's truck into another truck, and then
Yeah.
just like woke up, and he was
And then
just
just
like
got
in
out
his
of the
in
car.
his front yard. Like he said, he could touch the dude's garage door from how close he was to the front of his house. Like he could stick his hand out his window and touch his garage door.
And he
I'm like,
he just
"Oh
got out
my
of his car.
God."
He just got out of his car and walked
Yeah.
the rest of the way to his house and went up
Yeah.
to his room and went to bed.
Yeah.
And he woke up the next morning early as fuck to his mom. What the?
No, he said
What
he
the-
drove the car home. He drove the car home.
He reared out
He
and went and pulled it in the
backed
parking
out
lot.
and pulled it over to his house. And
You know, the
he
neighbor
said
walked out and they're like, "Who did this?"
And they
look
looked.
over,
They
yeah.
peered down the
there's dirt
street.
tracks pulling out.
Yeah.
There's dirt tracks just taking a right, and then they look over. And there's a
he
half-stolen car.
got super lucky from that.
Yeah, he
Super
could have
lucky.
definitely had some, but
He could have went to fucking jail.
Well, it was
dude.
like kind of like the Wolf of Wall Street movie where it's like, you know,
Dude,
the
yes.
next morning,
Oh,
like,
yeah,
well,
right.
there's no technical proof that I had been, I was drunk
exactly.
when
Well,
it
there's
happened.
no proof he was even behind the wheel. Like, no
Right?
one-
Yeah. There's like it's just his
Uh,
car. So,
That's so.
but yeah,
funny.
I know, wild. All right, so we are an
It's like,
hour. And,
Ignore the laceration to my rib. cage
yeah,
here.
yeah, right. We are an hour and 10 minutes in, and we've been bullshitting like in a good way. But I'm saying I know you're a business guy, so let's talk a little bit more about your business and some of the stuff that
sure.
you've. So okay, so you.
And wait, can I pause you just for a half?
Yeah,
second?
yeah, of course, yeah.
Is it gonna offend you if I go mobile to my bar cart and make a drink?
No,
and then
no,
come
do it.
back?
Do it.
All right, I don't want to upset the viewers as I'm giving.
Definitely.
No, yeah, move
definitely
that
do
shit.
that.
Move that shit.
Fine.
Actually, while you're moving around, I'm actually gonna go put my slippers on. So hold that thought for a second.
Nice.
I'll
All right,
be back
well,
in,
we're
like,
gonna do a
5
little
seconds, but-
adventure through my house, and maybe you guys will get to meet my wife.
Hell yeah, dude.
My
I've
my
met your wife.
entire spark of joy.
She's a
Oh,
nice-
babe, that smells good.
Stream, you want to hear something cool?
What's up?
Richie.
Florida?
Is
What's
a
weird
pretty-
about Florida?
Okay,
yeah.
shut
Hold
the
on,
fuck
Gears.
up.
Sorry.
No, Donnelly was in the middle of saying something. What's
Go ahead.
up?
Richie, pretty decent guy. And you know how you say in a relationship somebody's always reaching?
Yeah.
Well, you know, there's the reach.
Hello.
There's the reach. Oh, thanks. Yeah.
That's messed up.
Oh, gas! It looks so good.
Ooh.
I'm hungry. I haven't eaten dinner yet.
I'm
Yes.
stupid hungry.
Richie's wife
she's
still hasn't
like
figured out that
Master
he's a
Chef.
scumbag.
She's
One
like,
day.
he's like, he's in my headphones.
One
saying
day
what
it'll
you want.
happen.
You're lucky. I was like, you're lucky you're in headphones, Nick.
Jesus Christ. I'll be right back. I gotta use the bathroom really quick. Watch out.
You said that you haven't figured out that I'm a bad person. What'd he say? She goes, "Oh, I figured it out."
So
How dare you, Nick?
the weird thing about Florida that I still haven't really fully adapted to is like any article of clothing that you have on, you'll just be sweating underneath. But then like the
I do
things
that
that
anyway.
the things that you don't have, like anything covering, so like in this case my feet and like my lower legs are fucking freezing.
Why?
Because like it's just like it's cool in here, but like you can't fight the humidity. So it's like as soon as you have something on, you get like sticky and gross. I thought the channel was locked.
Yeah, who's in here, bro?
It's our buddy Vogues. Why is he in here?
He's an officer, but yeah, I'm
Oh, okay.
just gonna go ahead and get him out of here.
But yeah, I just it's weird. It is what it is. Where did Kyle go? He
Dude,
didn't say.
He's going to the
Florida.
bathroom.
My dad actually grew up in like. Here, I'm gonna talk a little quieter. Sorry, babe. My dad grew up in Arizona, and like, it's super dry heat
Mhm.
out there, and so like I actually proposed to my wife in Arizona. It was 116 degrees outside
So hot.
when I did
It's
it, and we were
absurd.
outside, and like I was sweating, and like partly just from the nervousness or whatever, but like it was extremely hot. And the funniest part about it was like I had this place picked out for us, and it was like a couple seconds of a walk from the restaurant that we were going to. And she like last minute wanted to change the restaurant, and I was like, okay. And so she ended up choosing a place that was like a 10-minute walk from where I was wanting to propose. And so I was like, yeah, like let's just go on a walk. And by the time we got there, I mean, like, yeah, we were both basically like drenched. All that goes to say, the Arizona heat, as dry as it is, when it's 120 degrees, you still sweat.
Yeah, it's like that's just the equivalent of like 0 degrees in winter. It's like you just can't like reasonably go outside for a long period of time.
Yeah.
Period. You can't even enjoy. You can't even enjoy like like a pool in that heat. It's too hot for a pool to be nice. Did we lose Dominic
Yeah.
too?
No,
Oh no,
I'm
he's
here.
still here. He's just on his phone.
Sorry.
Where did Kyle go?
He's in the bathroom.
Is he like
Oh,
turned
he's
around
gotta take
whacking in his chair?
No, yeah.
Thought I saw
It's
an elbow moving.
It's hilarious. What was I about to say? Oh, so okay, so you mentioned obviously it's just digital marketing would be the best way to describe it, right? It's kind of an all-encompassing term.
Yeah, I mean, like the easiest way to say it is like if you've seen it on a screen, like we can probably make it.
Yeah,
Like, most
right.
digital assets, like we deal with and try to create.
Yeah. So you mentioned the wedding thing. You guys have the wedding segment.
Yeah.
You guys also obviously are big in like video advertising is what I've seen some of your good
Mhm.
like the good stuff you've done there. You do some social media stuff, some branding, graphic design.
Yeah.
So obviously you said like you told the story of like what so like when you get a client, let's say it's like a new client, you're like I know you like every client's different or whatever, but like your run of the mill client, what do you do? Like what is your offering to a client? Like what are they looking for you to
Sure.
provide for them?
Porn shoots.
Dude, I made that way too strong.
Whew,
Um,
let the ice melt.
yeah, you saw that face I made. If you I'll replay that one. Yeah, so like basically like, well, and funny you asked that too, because like when we first started, it was like, hire us and I'm just gonna do whatever the hell I can possibly do to like get you situated and figured out, and we'll make it happen.
Right.
Since then, like I have like developed a ton of like processes and like all that kind of stuff. And because I have people under me now to where I don't have to directly do everything, my main focus is on like the customer experience now. So it's like when they talk to us the very first time, like you just asked, like what is their experience every single step underneath that. And so that's what I've been trying to manicure, is like making that experience phenomenal so that they're like, holy shit, like I love these guys. They're super great attention to detail. The processes are in line. I never have a question about what they're doing. I always know like what the reporting is giving me. And like before, it wasn't like that. It was like you had hired some freelance kid, which is what I had been doing. And it was just like, yeah, like I'll help you for this amount of hours a week. And now it's like we have pricing schemas and add-ons, and like you don't like I told you in the beginning of the story, it was like $20 an hour for 20 hours a week. We don't do anything that way anymore. Like it's
Right.
like it's
Yeah.
nowhere near that. And like we charge like $85 an hour on our most expensive service. So like our prices have increased and all that stuff. So basically like if someone inquires with us, whether it be because our sales guy went and got them, I talked to them at a sub shop, or they just find us online, we will set up a meeting with them. We have like a link, which like I'll plug them actually. They're awesome. Calendly. It's calendar, but Calendly, Ly at the end.
Mm-hmm.
You can like it syncs with your calendar, and then you can send a link off to somebody, and they can book their own meeting in whatever gaps you have free.
Yeah.
And you can set up like anything basically. So it goes off of like what our other meetings are and all that kind of stuff, and they're all different lengths, and you can set buffer times on each end. So that's been a really powerful tool for us. So they'll schedule a meeting with us. we Zoom with them, or they'll come into our conference room and sit down with us, and then we'll send them a proposal. The proposal will have all of our services detailed out with the pricing. You probably got one for that branding gig we bid out a while back.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, but for the audience, it's good for them.
Yes. And so like the proposal, right, is like you like open it, it's like cover letter, and then it's a picture of me and my experience, a picture of our project manager, her experience, a picture of the, say you're getting a video done, our video team, and each person on that thing's experience, and like how it all comes together, the timeline for the project, and then like ultimately how the pay breakdown is and all that stuff, which again, to reiterate, was stuff we'd never had in the beginning. So like we've come a long way in terms of like the old people stuff, which is the stuff I never wanted to do, which is like facilitating paperwork and getting all these PDFs and all this stuff. Because like even as a young person, I was like, bro, like that's like this is the new age. Like we just send an online invoice and it's good and we handle it. But like I just came to learn like that is not how business works. The majority of the business world is still 40-plus-year-olds dominating like 60% of it, and like they want the PDF, they want a phone call or an in-person meeting, they want to see you every single week or whatever it is. So all of that's been like a huge learning thing for us. But yeah, we give monthly automated reports. We have a software that will generate a report from all their ads and their pages and just email it to them. And then we set up like a quarterly sit down meeting, which is more of like a strategy meeting. So we'll be like, it's like a boutique store, and it's like, hey, next quarter we have spring coming up. You guys are gonna have spring close in. What kind of promo do we want to do to get spring clothes out? What discounts we're gonna do on the winter clothes to get those out of the store? And like all that, because I know a lot about boutiques just because my dad has that kind of deal. But like whatever the business is, it could be an accounting firm, and it's like, hey, what's the next thing coming up in accounting? Like what are the blog posts we need to get out about the new COVID loans that are coming out or whatever it is? So like a ton of learning and onboarding, if you will, to get a new client involved with our processes.
So what are you when you like when you have a customer? So you obviously, I know you guys are creators, right? So you mostly make stuff, but do you guys do stuff on the implementation side too? So like if you make an ad for somebody, right? So like I know I saw that, I think it was like a whiskey video you guys did, if I remember correctly.
Sure. What, Four Roses?
Something like that, but it's been a while now since I saw it. I remember Nick saying and being very impressed with the work. It was really, really good work. But
it was that Four Roses video.
so do you, once you have it, do you just go like, here you go to the customer, or do you guys actually also be like, we're gonna put this on in a commercial, we're gonna put the picture up on a billboard, we're gonna blast it out on all your socials? Like where do you guys, like, where's your line drawn in terms of like what you guys do for a customer?
No, yeah, I mean we do the implementation. So like it depends on like their budget and everything. Majority, like 80% of the businesses we work with are probably small businesses, so they can't afford radio and TV and billboards and Facebook and Instagram and Google Ads and SEO for their website and all that stuff. So when we're balling on a budget, as we like to say, it's like typically just Facebook, Instagram, and Hulu, or Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, or billboards and Google Ads only for like the insurance people because they don't like Facebook. So whatever it is. But yes, to ultimately answer your question, like we'll film something, and then that's like the great part between Alpha and Omega with the like sister companies is Omega, which is like photo, video, graphics, and web, will film something or photograph something, and then 3 desks over in the same exact office, they're like, hey Noah, I just filmed that. It's in the drive now. You can go pick that up and you can throw it into the ad campaigns and post it to their pages.
Cool.
Whatever. So it's like it's all like internal, and we really try to be like a one-stop shop for people to come in and like not have to jack with the stuff. Because like I grew up with my dad never wanting to learn tech and never knowing what the hell was going on, and never always needing someone, hey, come by and film this, hey, post that to our Facebook page, hey, come fix our internet password, hey, come do this, hey, my cameras are down, come get these live, how do I turn set up our new TV or whatever it is. So like I went into it with the expectation of like people don't want to do this work, and we need to bring everything to the table straight out of the gate.
Yeah. So okay, so that's cool. That's good to know that you kind of do both. Well, I had another question, but Kyle coming back into the picture.
All right, fellas, what's up?
through
I'm
my
back.
channel.
I was talking to Jordan. She's upstairs right now.
Oh no, that's
And
fine.
so
I
she got
just
home
we were
from
just
work
talking a
while
little bit
ago.
more about Rich's like
What's up?
business model and kind of like what it does and how he operates, so to speak.
What
How
it
he's
do?
goated.
Yeah.
For
Did you have
sure.
any?
For sure.
Did you have any questions? I just asked him two, and then when you came back, I lost my train of thought for a little to an extent.
I do have one question. My one question is when you started like your journey to be like, all right, I'm gonna own my own business and like just go for it. Did you like take out a fat loan? Like, how did you actually like get to the point where you're like, this is what like? Did you just start from the capital you had yourself, or did you basically, like I just said, did you just take out a fat loan and like try to fund shit and go from there?
Yeah, no, so I've actually never borrowed any money to start any of this.
No shit.
Like thankfully actually like the majority, which is like part of, sorry, I'm plugging in again. Hold on, just laugh at me for a second. Look how long this freaking cord is I'm working with here.
Unreal.
It's
Yeah.
not long at all.
It's
Ma-
like
That's
worthless.
some short shit there.
Yeah, I chose the wrong one on apple.com and it was still $45. Anyway,
Hey.
so
Sounds about right.
welcome to
Yeah.
Apple. Yeah.
Yeah. Cheers.
Our boys.
Yeah, but so anyways, like yeah, I had a MacBook and like the hilariously ironic thing about starting like a web design company or whatever is like that's all you need is
Oh,
like
really?
if you're doing web and graphics and everything, like all I needed was a laptop. Like I was doing
Mm.
all the coding and any of the, template implementation from platform builders and all that stuff like just from my laptop.
When you gonna
And I've
write me off a
upgraded like
laptop?
twice since then. Nick, I'm not buying you a laptop. Stop
Just
asking.
don't buy me on a
Uh,
laptop. Just write me one off.
I that's the same thing, bro.
Oh, I don't know how it works. I don't know in business.
This money just doesn't come out.
This guy.
But yeah, so anyways, like I will say like the cameras and all of that, like camera gear and like we were interviewed for an article the other day and before I went on to the call,
Red camera.
she was like, "Hey, I want to know like how much money you've put back into camera gear or whatever." So I like did a light calculation and we've literally probably put like $90,000 to $120,000 in camera gear in the last like
Damn.
2.5 years.
That's solid.
Which is
That's
nuts. So we have,
solid.
the lights, we've got all the backdrops, we've got an actual studio ready. We have 5 actual cameras. One's a $10,000 cinema camera. We've got like 15
That's
lenses. We've
sick.
got all the bags, like
Hell yeah.
everything you could
What brand
possibly
cameras do you guys buy?
imagine. So the cinema camera is a red Komodo. It shoots
Oh my
6K,
god.
and
You have
it's
a
like
red Komodo?
yeah, and that's like what
Jesus.
most of like Netflix stuff is shot on. Like the
That's
Netflix
insane.
originals are shot on.
I know what a red
Um,
Komodo is, dog. Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
they're awesome. Yeah. So
That's sick.
like Netflix uses those because for a cinema camera, 10 grand's a cheap entryway, but for
Yeah.
what they're doing, they wanted to have like 50 original shows being shot at the same time. So they're like, hey, let's buy
Right.
100 Komodos, and each
Right.
set can have 5 or whatever it is. But
That's
Yeah.
insanity. But yeah, that's
so
badass.
yeah, and then the other brand that we're predominantly using is Sony.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
we use the Sony A7s, the
Yup.
Alpha 7 series.
Oh, you
All of them
do?
probably.
Wait.
That is a what A6000?
I think this is an A6. Yeah.
A6000?
Yeah, A6000. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I have that.
Can I
Oh
interest you? Can I
Um,
interest you in an A6000 since it's just a nice heavy paperweight on my
I
desk right now?
have one of those that is also a paperweight on one of my employees' desks right now.
They're so nice, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, I
Yeah.
started with that, and like that's the funny thing. So I bought that camera, that same one from Sam's Club for $400, and that was what I used for my starting out camera.
Hell
As
yeah.
we
Oh yeah.
got started in
Us too.
2019.
Yup.
Yeah, so like, hey,
That's what we
you'll
started the
upgrade
cast
one day,
with.
but we
I think I've
and
upgraded this
Nick's
webcam.
Nick keeps asking me, like, what cams do I buy for the pod and all this stuff, and I kept telling him like, stick with Sony stuff, whatever, and like that Alpha 600 6000
Yeah.
series is cheap. The 6400, 6500 are both like pretty good price entry points, but
Yeah, I know
um,
Sony. I know Sony's big for video. From
yeah,
everyone that I like, I'm big on like the camera. Like, I'm just like a huge like tech guy. I'm like a big tech like YouTube follower. I watch like MKBHD.
yeah, I'm sure you
Who's
watch like
the
Peter McKinnon.
Peter McKinnon? Yeah, like all the big tech YouTubers.
Unbox
And like,
therapy.
yeah, well, like, see, I like Unbox Therapy, but he's not like MKBHD and
No.
Peter McKinnon.
Yeah.
Like,
I
Which
like
he
He's
was
LTT.
like
Line-
MKHV shoots on that Komodo now.
yeah,
Linus
that's
Tech
how I
Tips
know
are my
about it.
favorite.
Yeah.
What's up?
I'm a big Linus
Linus?
Tech Tips guy.
See, Linus is different too. Like Linus is more old school. Unbox Therapy is more like mainstream. Like
Influencer.
he's more mainstream, like unboxing for the masses type shit.
Yeah.
MKBHD is more for like
Yeah.
for his crowd. Like he's like, if you're a big tech guy, like you know what I'm talking about, and if you're not, you'll probably have no idea type deal. But Peter McKinnon is more just photography, mainstream type stuff. Like if you're big into cameras and photography, like you know what he's talking about. Like his videos are all shot masterfully. Like that's why I literally get hyped when MKBHD drops new videos. I like get
Yeah,
ready.
bro.
I sit down. I watch it on like the best screen I can with the best
Yeah.
audio. It's like an
Which is,
experience. It's like a
I think
mini
he's actually
movie every
updated
time.
to the new Raptor. So
Yeah.
he's shooting in 8K
Yep.
now,
Yeah.
which is funny because he like shoots 8K and then samples down to 1080p or 4K or whatever for
A
publishing to YouTube.
4K. Yeah.
Which is like something I was about to mention earlier, which is like the law of diminishing return. So like
Right.
with the field that I'm in, like, and if you guys don't know, and viewers, whoever, if you don't know what the law of diminishing return is, it's basically saying like when you get up to 4K, the upgrade cost to go to 6K
Yep.
consumer wise is very unnoticeable. And then even more so, the upgrade to 8K is even less noticeable for the giant price, induction that you take on. So,
Right.
like for us, right, we're the majority of the stuff we're making is social media content. Apart from like, we've had a couple stuff going like QVC, HSN, TV commercials, SamsClub.com, Walmart.com, all that kind of stuff.
That's sick.
Which is dope. And like, of course, we're gonna use a good camera for that. But when you're doing a lot of social promo, that's why we have 4 A7 IIIs. You know what I mean? It's like all of that stuff is being sampled down back to 1080 to be able to be compressed to be able to post out to social.
Right. Yeah.
And so like we want to be a nice production house, and that's why we eventually bought the Komodos so we could get into that commercial work. But like if you're gonna shoot like an Instagram reel on the Komodo, you're gonna sample back down to a vertical 9x16
Right.
and
There's no
1080p,
point. It's
and
all going
like
back to 1080.
only the super big camera nerds are gonna notice the little bit of difference in bit compression and all that kind of stuff. So like
Right.
it's wild, but yeah, like we got on this whole train from you asking like, was I bootstrapped from
Oh
a
yeah.
bunch of cash or whatever?
Mhm.
But no, I wasn't. I bought that $400 A6000 from Sam's Club, used that until I saved up for the A7 III, bought a G Master prime lens for like $3,000, slapped that on there, shot like everything on that for a while,
yeah.
and then when I hired Courtney finally, he got me learning like a lot more about cameras, and so now I can tell you like everything you could possibly ever need to know about a camera,
Nice.
aperture, ISO, whatever. Um, and that was when we like started really leveling up on our production game and all that. So
Yep. Fuck yeah.
So
That's
you
awesome,
mentioned
dude.
you mentioned earlier you were like, yeah, when the pandemic happened, like we all like kind of got, exiled from the office, so to speak, right?
mm-hmm.
So you're kind of in a unique position where I guess uh you need like a space in some capacity, right, for shooting.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have, I guess, like a studio, so to speak.
Yeah.
What? But you're keeping the office space and after, like, you went back to the office. It sounds like, right?
Yeah, we kept it. And like, like I told you, I tripled down and bought one 3 times the size, or rented, one 3 times the size,
Yeah.
even after I learned kind of from COVID that it wasn't a super necessary expense. But I told you guys, like I got such a good deal in that space. It was like an idiot would have turned that
Yeah.
down.
Right.
Because I'm getting, like 450 a square foot per year or something like that. If you know anything, that's like a
Yeah.
fourth of the price of what it should be. So that's all been like super super awesome. But yeah, like the studio and all that has been like, and like during the pandemic we could have cheated, and gone up to the studio and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, like this was on our socials this morning. Actually, I did a little tour of the office space, which I don't know how audio will come through, but this will show you the studio we were
If it's
shooting
easier,
at.
you can send it to Donley. He can put it on like the actual screen.
Don's.
Donley can do
Look
that.
it up.
you been, man?
Fat. He's right there.
He's over here just
chilling.
texting the whole damn pod.
No, he's not. I'm
He's got to
listening.
do what he's got to do. He's a man of the people.
He's got baby girl up his sleeve.
Damn.
Call that.
Donley, it's only It's only 8:03 Mountain Time, dude. So you gotta
All
at
right,
least
Nick,
another
play
hour.
this video because I've got like
why'd you send it to me in a
15 minutes
text, you
left till I
moose
gotta pop
master?
off. What was I supposed to send it on?
Discord. I'm on my
the
computer.
Discord. Yeah. Sorry, that's more on me. I should have probably
Discord, yo.
emphasized
Come
that.
on.
What are you doing? How could
Come
you?
So
on.
to you,
Yes.
while he's pulling it up and while he's pulling it up to show us, the price for the space makes it worth it to keep the space. Even, are your employees disgruntled by that at all?
What, like having to come in even though
Yeah.
we've kind of proven that we don't need to?
And also,
No,
like
I mean,
your
like,
entire
dude.
like your entire sphere is digital.
Yeah,
You know
I
what I
mean, like,
mean? Like you
people,
guys do.
yeah, employee wise, like
Okay, next
we're
is our
like a
studio
family,
here.
like,
We were shooting
and
Yeah.
like,
some
you know, we're
Mother's
young, so
Beer
people are gonna
yesterday.
come
She
and
went
go
late
50
last-
times. Like, I don't expect anyone that's working there now to be around 10 years from now because we're young creatives and, you know, the beginning of our careers. But the like culture that we've built, we've hammered down on. We worked with a consulting company about like, you know, how do businesses ebb and flow, what's the most successful businesses, what are they doing, and like ultimately their theology had come down to like it's all about your culture inside of the business. And so we really started like trying to cultivate the culture, for lack of better words, and like developing that. And so we have a thing called First Friday. So the first Friday of every month, we do like a whole house cleaning together. We blast music. We have breakfast brought in from a donut shop or a coffee shop or whatever. We watch a movie for the rest of the day, like
I need to
while everyone's working, um, and do all that kind of stuff. And then like, you know, there's just there's tons of these little things that we do. We go work at a brewery
Yeah.
once a month. We work at a coffee shop once a month. We 1 week out of the month, we spend half of the day at home. So we come into the office, everyone leaves at noon, and then works the other half from home. So that's kind of actually like a hybrid to that
Yeah,
scenario that you're
right.
talking about to break up the monotony. But as far as our clients go, like they love feeling bougie and coming into a nice space that's like super modern, super techy. We have this giant conference room. We sit down at a big long table. Like it makes their experience with us feel very high end and
Yeah.
justifies the price point. It justifies
Hell
it
yeah.
just like when they don't know what to expect. And this is the funniest thing about small business I've learned is like you make up what reality is for other people. Like
Mm-hmm.
their like perception of like half the business owners I've talked to have never dealt with a company like mine. And so when I teach them that the common thing to do is you come in, we sit down in a boardroom, we have a giant meeting, you share me your numbers, you don't hide that stuff, like you're open with me about it, and I give you a recommendation on like what I think you should do. And like that, it's like you have to treat it like your lawyer, right? Like you have to trust these people, you have to give them legal information that's viable to your business and trust them with it to make educated decisions. You're being billed by the hour. Like it's very like it's much more like corporate than I thought it kind of was and wanted it to be. But looking back and like going through all of it now, like I wouldn't change like how
Yeah.
it is.
No, I got you. Yeah, that makes sense. If the like you said, if the space is easy to utilize and if your employees don't mind being there, like for me, the worst part of work every day is going.
Yeah.
Sure.
Like,
I mean,
I
this is
agree.
me time, right?
like
that
typically,
makes sense. I agree.
like for me, everything about going to work is what sucks about work. Like I could do my job almost entirely. I could do my job with 4 hours of the day being in the building.
Well, yeah,
Four
Nick,
sorry, 4 hours.
Before we
4
get too
hours
sidetracked,
of a
before we get
week.
too sidetracked, let's watch this video.
Okay, yeah, play it.
Oh yeah.
Run it.
Okay, next is our studio
We're
here.
We're gonna
We're shooting.
we'll only be able to
Hey, you
hear it.
want to shut up?
Yeah, this is just literally like a video of the studio. Post
Okay, next
shoot,
is our
we had to shoot
studio
like
here.
the
We
day
were
prior.
shooting some
Well,
Mother's
play it
Beer
again. Oh,
yesterday. The
it's
shoot went
okay.
late last night, so we didn't clean this up. We were shooting on the Komodo 6K and got some good stuff there. Don't think we.
Oh, 15 seconds. Is that how long it's supposed to be?
Yeah, it's just
Oh.
a short little clip.
Nice.
Dude,
That's
I don't know.
that's a sick
think that
setup,
this
though.
would look really nice on that shelf full of cameras. That's all I'm saying. It's like
You can probably just ship it to him for free.
yeah, I'll pay for shipping.
I was gonna say, if it's just free, I'll throw it in my graveyard. I have one.
No, I need to. it's a thing. I got to deal with it, but I
Yeah,
just
there
haven't
you
haven't
go.
had the time or the money to deal
I
with
wasn't
it.
kidding. Like we actually have one of those in the studio.
No, I
and
know. Yeah.
it doesn't even go into the studio. It's not even worthy.
Yeah, this thing I want to make it. I want to make it into my webcam. Like that's my eventual plan is to have it be like
Yeah,
my
it would be
desk
good for
desk
that.
camera, which is like a good use for it. But
You need a
I've just
capture
hit
card.
roadblocks, and I just don't care enough to like push through them with
To
it.
just
So
get a
it is
capture
what it
card.
is.
Yeah.
That's the
Road
roadblock.
blockers.
I
Well-
bought a camera card. Speaking of, I need to check what's going on with that. I bought a camera capture card on Amazon, and like an Elgato capture card, and they
Is it
like took my the little one, the USB
Cam link?
one,
the
like
4K
cheap one.
the 4K
Yeah,
cam link.
yeah, yeah.
It's not
And
cheap. It's like $300. That's
No.
what I
no, it
use.
was
They're
like
awesome.
it was like $100.
They're not 4K.
Or-
The one I have is like 200.
Oh, maybe I didn't
Yeah,
get the 4K
mine's
one.
4K. Yeah. I was gonna
But
say we use that
regardless,
for live streams and stuff.
they delayed it, and then it never came, and I
Good.
didn't I never looked into it again, so that's fun. But yeah, so and I bought a what's it called for it, a desk tripod, like a standing tripod for it for the desk, and I took it out of the box. I did buy a cheap tripod to be fair, because
Yeah.
I figured I would like just like kind of set it and forget it, and like wherever it was is where it would live. And as I was like putting it together, it literally just broke into a gazillion pieces. I had to set it back.
Nice.
Awesome.
So that's fun too.
Your caveman
Well.
hands.
Yeah, for real. My mom is an Amazon psychopath too, by the way. Side note, but she's got stuff that's not delivering until January 10th. It's like, why'd you buy it on
What?
Amazon? What the hell's wrong with
Yeah.
it?
January.
Oh, it might be
how
it
from
might be
Amazon?
a subscription.
Yeah, I was about to say that's
Yeah.
insane.
But anyways, yeah.
Wild.
So that's
I love
the fun stuff.
Amazon.
I know it's
Amazon's
it's the
great.
best. I won't even.
Okay, so Nick wanted to talk about this, and I was gonna neglect it, but like I'm not BSing here. I literally have like 5 minutes left till I have to get off here because I have some. It's a long story, but I've
No,
been
that's
bowling with
perfect.
one
We're
of my
right on our.
buddies,
That's like where our time
like
Yeah,
is.
every
that's
Wednesday night
right on money.
forever and
No,
ever.
you're-
So I'm gonna go
you're
do
good.
that. But no, Nick wanted to trash Bezos on the Amazon stuff, and I was like, bro, like
Big time.
Amazon's one of the best companies on earth, but this
Yeah.
leadership council, however, as we've seen with governments and everything else, tends to probably suck most of the time. So I mean, like, am I surprised? No.
Well, I just wanted to
Um,
pull up this string of tweets that I saw that had me all fucked up personally.
Oh, I got a refund issued. Sweet.
Or not
Okay,
tweets,
good to know.
texts. So basically, what happened? To summarize, there was an Amazon.
This is a nice.
Shit.
Go ahead, Don. Sorry.
There was an Amazon warehouse that
Burn down,
that blew down in a tornado.
blew down.
What?
And like
Same thing.
several people died. And like basically I'm hearing on Reddit that like they were like not allowed to leave and held in like unsafe work conditions.
What?
Yeah, the Amazon facility was like the safest place for you to be is here, and then the Amazon facility
Collapsed.
blew over in a tornado and a bunch of people died.
Now, this is my question right off the bat. Did they actually believe it was the safest place to be, or did
Probably
they just say
like
that?
my
Right.
work here. We're in like 100,000 square foot warehouse here, and it's got like the hurricane. It's like it's new though. Like this thing probably got built within the last 2 years. It's got like the hurricane proof windows, and like they're like if there's a hurricane, this is the building you want to be in. You don't want to be in your house. You want to be in this.
Let me
building.
read this while I have it up. It says Amazon
yeah.
won't let us leave. The last text Larry Verdon ever sent his wife. Meanwhile, Jeff Bezos is partying and suing the government for more taxpayer subsidies. It's past time to punish Amazon and Bezos for their murders. So the texts here say it's from this husband to his wife. Well, I'll be home after the storm. What do you mean? Amazon won't let us leave. She said all it's doing is lightning. She said, "What are you doing?
my
I hope everything is
gosh.
okay.
That's terrible.
I love you."
That's
And
awful.
Dude, the first problem about this whole thing is what forum you're in right now.
Anti-work. Oh, Sanders for president.
Sanders for president. Oh
Yeah,
That's
my
a good
gosh.
good
That's a good one.
subreddit.
I was just I thought that was just like a like an ad. What?
No,
No,
that's the sub. The sub is like pivoted obviously since he's not probably
Yeah.
running for president again. But yeah, I mean, I kind of get that. Like one of my first meetings, like we had our building meeting, which is like hard for us. We do them like once a month because there's almost 100 of us in the building, and it was like one of the questions came up because it was during hurricane season. It was like, what do we do if like there's a hurricane? And they were like, well, like in theory we would, we close down, but like I guess if like one that wasn't supposed to hit got rerouted and all of a sudden like swept in here, like this is where you want to be, blah blah blah, which is probably exactly what Amazon said. The difference is like a hurricane typically is like get the fuck out of town. A tornado happens very rapidly, but like usually like you
Yeah.
want to be underground for a tornado, not like
Yeah.
in the middle of a fucking warehouse with a bunch of racking and shit all over it. So
Well, and two, like my thought at least is like Amazon, I don't take for a bunch of idiots. So, I mean, if they are talking about a risk assessment here, like I don't think they would have told people to stay if they thought they had a better chance of living outside of the building.
From
if
what
they
I
left, that's why I'm
understand,
Because
saying.
like
people
Nick, would you not
from what
say
I
the exact
understand,
same story
from
if it
what
was
I
Amazon
understand,
made us leave and 15 people
you're missing
died
a
in their
key.
car on their
You're
way
missing
home?
a key point of the story. From what I understand, not only were they told to stay, they were told to continue working.
yeah, they weren't like put into like a safe like
Yeah, I mean
area of
that's
the
pretty
warehouse.
sketch. Like I don't know.
I
From all
mean,
I've heard nothing but horror stories from people that work at Amazon. Like I've just heard like the actual Amazon work environment is pretty trash.
Yeah.
But like at the same time, like I've heard a lot of people make really great money at Amazon. Like I don't know, like it's
No,
well, and the other thing I was
Amazon's a
gonna say
garbage
is like,
company, and they're a plague on our society. But like, we really have no choice because of our political structure has just allowed for like the meritocracy to allow Amazon to exist. Like it shouldn't be allowed to exist, and
That is a
it
sentence
does.
for more than a wind down on this conversation.
Yeah, I know.
Jesus
right. Yeah,
yeah, and I
Christ.
was gonna say like,
let's
do
go
you
into that
guys,
next time.
Holy
you
fuck.
guys,
Oh, yeah, we can get on that
someone,
on Wednesday.
we need to have a follow up Amazon pod, but like, do you guys know,
Sure.
each of you, if you don't know, like, guess for me real fast, how much percentage wise Amazon takes up on global transactions for the internet?
I don't know,
Oh
I have no idea.
15%,
God, what
Probably
they
a lot.
are globally? No, yeah, but not percentage wise. It's probably not that high
probably
because the internet
15
is
to
like
20%.
a crazy ass place.
I
No,
have
I
no
would
idea.
say, is it? I would say a sub 10. I would say maybe even sub 1.
Do you know the
From the
answer?
report that I heard
I'm just making these
was
numbers
like
up. I have no idea.
upwards of 55%
Ooh.
Of
Holy
all
shit.
transactions on the internet,
of all
or tangible orders
probably
placed.
product based transactions.
Because I was gonna
If I
say
had to
like
guess.
think about like the Apple App Store. It's like every time you
No,
technically
that can't
Yeah, and
count.
well, I mean, truthfully too. I mean, the Apple App Store only pulls a few hundred million a year. I mean, like
right,
Amazon's
yeah,
pulling like a billion a week. You know what I mean?
yeah. But you
That's
figure
insane.
all those websites that like have a million, like I feel like all those would stack up very very rapidly compared to like the
Apparently
the
not.
Amazon total, but I guess not. But if it's actual like product purchasing, then they own the market.
Jeez.
Yeah, and like I'm trying to find the thing I read. I follow a few like feeds and articles or whatever. I should have come with some stats prepared with that monstrosity of a number, but anyways,
No, this
I
is
know
like
for
a safe.
I
This
know
is
for
a
a
safe
fact
place.
in the United States it's over half. I know for a fact in the United
That
States
sounds
it's over
that
half
sounds right. But I was gonna say like,
half
isn't
of those
Alibaba
transactions. But
basically Amazon in China?
Alibaba and DHgate are like
Yeah,
the two big ones like globally or
Is
whatever.
that
I'm
like
pretty sure
AliExpress? Is that the same thing?
that
AliExpress is like a subsidiary. It's like the Amazon Prime of Alibaba
yeah.
kind of
Okay,
deal, I guess.
I gotcha.
But yeah, I mean, no, this podcast is and will probably always be a safe place to be like, I'm pretty sure this is correct, but I'm not actually sure if it's correct. But like, we can always
Yeah.
check later or figure it out. Yeah, but no, I mean, it sounds right, especially like I know they dominate the market. It's just the internet is such a large place. Like, dude, my mind when you say like transact, I was thinking transactions like every time a credit card gets charged, right? Like just all
Oh
of the
no,
internet.
yeah. I was just saying like online internet purchases.
Yeah. Because I'm thinking like, bro, porn, how much of the internet is porn alone and how much of that shit is paid is like, that's got to be a huge segment of
Yeah.
but yeah,
Well,
no, I
I'll
understand
tell
what
you
your
something else
question.
I just learned is the phone scam people, which is like 90% of the business is based in India or whatever. That
Right.
industry every year is worth over $20 billion,
Crazy.
and their call centers have a push through percentage of like a tenth of a percent or something like that. And so it's like for every 100,000 phone calls they make to a United States citizen, they close like 5 to 15 people. in terms of like completing the scam or whatever.
Yeah, but it's a $20 billion
like,
industry.
a $20 billion
Yeah.
industry. So like, think how many, I mean, I on average, because my numbers all over the internet. I mean, I get 5 calls minimum per day from all these
Yeah.
people, like whatever the heck it is, and I just don't answer them because I'm sick and tired of it. But like, that blew my mind alone to think that 100,000 calls translates to 5 to 15 people, and there's probably well over 1 million per day happening. So I mean, there's
Bro,
like,
if I could call 100,000
1,000
people, I could get.
Americans a day.
If I could call
Oh
100,000
yeah,
people,
we
I
could
could
do some
get at
damage.
least 100 of them would give me money. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like I could
yeah. And
probably
so, like,
peruse myself into a little bit more than 10 to 15. God.
have you guys
damn.
watched like the Mark Rober stuff on YouTube where they track down these scam artists and all that? Like the
No, I
girl
haven't.
No.
I know who that is, but no, I haven't seen that.
Bro, yeah.
I don't
So
know
I
who that
mean,
is.
he's Mark
He's an
Rober used to work for
ex-NASA.
NASA.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's like an engineer, but he makes one YouTube video per month or per year or something crazy.
He's got like big
Um,
budget projects that he does.
Yeah, I think it's like one per month or something. But anyways, he like does something extravagant. He's the guy behind the glitter bomb porch pirate thing.
I've
Oh,
seen
Like, if
I,
you
I sent one of
yell
those to you,
something off the
Gears.
porch.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
did.
so like,
Yeah.
he made that, and so one of his glitter bomb porch pirate things, he somehow got involved in like a online trader scam thing, linked up with another YouTuber who's a hacker. That YouTuber hacks like call centers in India, will get into their webcams and can see the entire call center. He'll delete all the stuff in the server, watch them all freak out. Like, it's
That's
extremely
sick.
entertaining.
I
It's
gotta go
super
watch
dope.
that.
Have
That's
you
Yeah,
seen the
it's
trailer?
super
Have you
dope.
guys seen the Trailer Park Boys episode where they do the scam, like the scam call? It's one of the animated ones. It's actually
one of
pretty
the
funny.
animated ones, probably
I
not.
haven't seen
Yeah.
that.
I
Have
couldn't
you
make
seen?
it
Have you
through
watched the
it.
animated one, Dons?
Yeah. Which
Where
one?
Ricky thinks he's getting well, the Canadian IRS calls Ricky. And
Oh
it's a
yeah,
scam.
yeah.
It's a good episode.
They scam the whole trailer park.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And then they like seek their revenge on the scam. It's very funny.
It's good stuff.
It sounds like the comedic like entertainment version of what you're talking about.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's badass.
Yeah.
Well, boys,
yeah,
are we
so anyways, like,
are we on the
yeah,
wrap up
mules
here,
and
Richard? You
all
got to
this
go do
stuff,
what you
but-
got to do. I got to go to bed.
Dude, I
Yeah.
don't know what you're doing, but yeah, I mean, I'm about to nab that food that I showed you guys earlier and then go.
Hell yeah.
I don't know if
Sure.
I'm going bowling or not. My guys. Oh,
Damn.
they're already there. They just texted me.
Oh shit. Well, you
Oh.
better get going.
Peace out, dude.
I might
All
just
right.
bail and play some
No.
Halo.
Hey. There
Uh,
you go.
We're clipping. We're about to clip 2 hours here, anyways. So
Yeah, I
that's about our. Usually we're not hard cut off on 2 hours, but that's typically where we don't really go longer than
I'm
that.
good, bro.
Let's audio.
So good episode per usual. Throw us those Prime subs, and if you're feeling real generous, your regular subs. Follow Rich on his Instagram. His Instagram has his business information in it too, like his business social medias, which I'm sure like you can feel DMs there if somebody's interested in being like,
Yeah.
hey, I'm looking at something. I don't know who's watching, but if somebody's like, I got money, or wants,
Well, and like,
looking
I
to
mean, use it
invest
as
in.
that, dude. If you guys are just interested in media and any of that kind of stuff, just go in there and look at it for inspo.
Yeah.
and make your own crap and make some money.
Shit, I don't know who's watching. You might get a couple of social media resumes. Just people looking to do some work for you. But
Oh, yeah.
We need somebody. I got a spot opening up here in a few weeks.
yeah, shit. Well, hey, if anybody wants to put in an application with Richie, you can make us through the cellar door logo as your footnote. Send it to us and him. Yeah. I can't promise that it'll go anywhere, but we'll gladly take a look at
You'll
it.
get some extra bonus points if you mention the Cellar.
exactly.
I promise you that.
Yeah.
Amen.
But cool, man. Yeah, so we'll have to do this again
We
down the
appreciate
road
it,
and get a
Rich,
little
big
bit more
time.
in depth
Yeah. Thanks for coming
as
on,
this
man.
thing grows. But I appreciate you coming on for sure. Follow Rich
Sure.
on socials and follow us too.
Yeah.
And yeah, sweet.
Thanks.
Good up,
Yeah, guys.
good up, guys.
Thanks for having me.
Of
Appreciate it.
course.
Love all you guys.
Adios.
Appreciate the good combos.
Bowl of 300 for me.
Yeah, for sure.